Hello, everybody. Back to three people. We got the personnel. We're the real shit. Episode 17 of Totally Not Biased. Got a lot of fun shit to talk about. Wildcard Weekend, baby. Super Wildcard Weekend. And we got some UFC news that we're going to update you guys on. And we're also going to talk about the event next weekend. And we're going to talk about the Monday wildcard matchup we're not going to be able to cover. We're currently recording this late on Sunday of Wildcard Weekend. So we'll know the results of all 5 of the games from Saturday and Sunday by the end of the episode. And we're going to give our reactions to everything, talk about pretty much every aspect of those games. And
we're going to talk about now the Bengals lose. I'm talking shit because I saw some real dumb shit about Josh Allen on Twitter from some Bengal fans. That's all I got to say.
Hey, I mean, the shit talk's there. We're also going to do, before we get talking about the Wildcard Weekend at all, we're going to do our top 25 NFL players of the year. Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun with this.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw this. Whole bunch of different all-pro lists have come out. AP, PFF, and the NFLPA.
Don't look at PFF.
I'm just saying. There's multiple first-team all-pro lists that are out. They're pretty interesting, and maybe they contribute to this list a little bit. But we're going to start out with UFC. Got UFC 283. We're just going to talk about the main events here. Actually, no, not with 283, because like I've said, before we even started, we got three fights we're going to talk about. So,
I know.
Are y'all good?
He's on a list.
I fucking pulled up a list for PFF All Pro Team, and it said Carson Palmer was the number 1 quarterback. I was like, what? And he fucked.
Yeah, man.
He's in 2013.
They've been doing this shit since 2012?
PFF
I think is when
has
they
been
were formed.
sucking dick for
I
a
don't
long
know.
time.
Anyways, we got UFC 283. The first fight we're going to talk about is Gilbert Burns. I don't know this guy. And
Neil Magny.
No idea.
I'll handle this. I got this.
You got this. I mean, you're the
We'll start from the bottom
UFC.
because I do think there's something kind of interesting about this. Paul Craig is on this card fighting Johnny Walker. If you know who Paul Craig is, he's Jamal Hill's only loss. He broke his fucking arm.
Oh shit.
So I think it's fucking hilarious that they're both on the same card. We'll start just that. I expect Paul Craig probably early. Johnny Walker just ever since his shoulder, he fucked his shoulder up. He's just not been the same. I mean, I remember when they were talking about Johnny Walker being the person to beat John Jones at light heavyweight. Like, that's who Johnny Walker was supposed to be. Lauren Murphy and Jessica Andrade, we don't give a fuck. Jessica Andrade is going to run through Lauren Murphy.
Definitely should.
Jessica's a fucking man.
Yeah.
No offense.
She's the one that dropped Rose on her head, isn't it?
Yeah, and she's the one that choked. Her last fight, she fucking choked that girl up in a standing triangle. It was dirty. Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny. I like Neil Magny. He is a fighter's fighter. Like, he was the one that when that long layaway of Hamzat was happening, he was like, bro, just let me fight him. Like, I'll fight him. Like, he just wants to fight. The bad thing is he's getting
kind of like Nate Diaz sort of thing.
The bad thing is he's paired up against a fucking god.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns is so fucking he's just so entertaining. Like his fight with Hamzat. His fight with Hamzat, it made me feel pretty terrible.
Is that his last fight? He had one after that, right?
His last, because it was Gilbert Burns, and then his fight before that was Usman.
No. He had a fight
was it
where he wrestled the entire time.
Paulo Costa?
No, he didn't fight Paulo Costa.
No.
That was Luke
Burns had a fight where he just wrestled, and it pissed me off. Then he fought
It was probably
Hamzat, and that fight was really good, so I'm back on Gilbert Burns. It's fun to watch again.
Hamzat, it was, his last fight before Hamzat was Usman. That was in 2021.
Holy shit. Yeah, he hasn't been fighting very much.
Oh, we got to talk about 286.
286.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah. We're going to work through all these events just because the announcements we just saw.
It's the new year, so we're getting we're starting to get the pathway of how the
we
UFC
know the
is
dates
gonna
for
go this year.
the next 3 events.
March 4th.
March fucking 4th.
I can't wait.
Is gonna be
all
fire.
right, Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. You should want Brandon Moreno to win because nobody else in this division is good, and if he wins, we might get a 5th fight.
We're doing fight 5.
Like, they just
fight 5.
You realize
all of their fights have been entertaining as fuck, though.
We're running the saga.
The
fight of the night, fight of the year type shit.
The championship belt of the flyweight division has been fought by 2 people in 2 years. There's only been 2 people that have fought for that belt. And it's been Figueiredo and Moreno. Every time. Glover Teixeira and Jamal Hill. Now, I'm very nervous for Jamal Hill because Paul Craig is a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist, and he does not sniff Glover's jockstrap in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
I expect Glover
is, 41 at this point? He's old as fuck.
Yeah, but look at that fight against Yuri.
He
doesn't pull guard on Yuri. He finishes Yuri.
What's so disappointing about the light heavyweight division is that, like,
John left it in ruins.
Yeah, it hasn't been good since John Jones left.
I really like Yuri.
I like Yuri, but he just now popped up. Like, we've been...
I would have optimism for the division if he didn't get fucking significantly hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what sucks.
His is the worst. Now, like, what we were talking about with shoulder injuries with Johnny Walker, they said that this shoulder injury with Yuri is the worst they have ever seen.
Yeah, and then you got Blachowicz and, what's his name? He just fought.
Who is that?
Blachowicz and Ankalev.
Yes. Yeah. So, like...
Magomed Ankalev.
So, like, I don't think those guys necessarily deserve a title shot.
I think Ankalev does just because, to be completely honest, he should be the champion. In this fight should be Ankalev and Teixeira. And then with Jamal Hill next.
So you think Ankalev won that fight?
Yeah. I mean...
I thought so as well.
Jan did. Jan gave it up to him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that's
enough
for me. Like, I can watch it from a spectator's perspective. But when
I think it was so close that they really did. There was a lot of like mixed feelings about it.
It was close, but it was.
That's what happened.
That was a whole bad night.
When you have an unbiased panel and they're able to go into their judging, you know, with a clear mind about.
Well, that was a bad night because that was also Flash Gordon and Patty Pimblett, which Patty didn't win that fight.
No,
it was.
He won.
Fight was boring.
He won
by
popularity.
If I had to go for it, I'd just give you a 5-leg parlay for this. Go Craig, Andrade, Burns. I'm going Moreno just because I want him to win, and then Teixeira.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
Not really much to talk about. I mean, this is kind of a low. This is a card that was put together last year.
This is gonna definitely sell more than Nate Diaz's. It's definitely gonna It's probably gonna end up selling more than the last one, the 282 as well.
Hamzat's not gonna Hamzat's not going to be there to miss weight. That's why that one sold so poorly, is because Hamzat missed weight, and then everyone was like, okay, I'm not watching fucking Tony Ferguson and Nate Diaz.
That was a good fight, though.
It was but
fun.
it was a good. It would have been a great
Tony
fight
Ferguson getting his fucking
it also
getting fucked up in 2 fights.
It was a great fight night, but it wasn't worth the UFC.
Yeah, it wasn't
main card.
It shouldn't have been a
pay-per-view card.
We'll go to.
We got 284. Got Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. That's the main event. We're just gonna talk about it. Every other fight, I don't know any of these guys, and doesn't really.
Oh damn! I didn't see that.
I was trying to show you.
Islam, current champion in the lightweight division, seems dominant. Just beat Charles Oliveira for the title.
I've actually got some.
Volkanovski moving up from what division is it?
It'll be lightweight, so it'll be.
No, I'm saying he's moving up. From what
he's
division?
moving. What is that?
Is it?
It's not featherweight.
Is it? I'm not. I don't.
No,
know.
it is featherweight. It is featherweight because the co-main event is Okay, yeah. So the co-main event is Yair Rodriguez and Josh.
He didn't vacate
Emmett.
his title, did he?
No, he's holding
double.
it.
So he's gonna be a double champion.
Yeah,
if he wins.
If he wins.
I'm not
Islam has, and I want this to be known because I've been seeing this on Twitter because a lot of people are like, "How is Islam gonna take the belt and not fight in that weight?" He's not. Islam can't win the featherweight belt in this fight.
No,
it's
not how that works.
It's not a possibility.
No,
so
they're fighting within the lightweight division.
So this is just for
a lightweight championship belt.
The only fight that matters on this card is Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett because that is who is next up for the featherweight belt, which is Volkanovski's. So
this would be like if Israel's situation where he lost to Jan and he went back to his division.
Yeah, he still had his champion.
But I think if Volk wins, he stays in that division.
If Volk wins,
Volk already said he wants to fight multiple times a year. He can bounce between the two weights, very consistent. He's going to defend.
He probably walks around at like 160.
No one in his division is even close. No. Like we can talk about
Josh Emmett and Yair Rodriguez are the next closest two, and they both lose.
Yeah, they're gonna get their ass beat whenever they go to fight Volk.
Just
we're watching, and that's why I want Volk to win this because I want him to stay in this division and have at least some competition.
Who would be the next contender for a lightweight title fight for Volkanovski? It'd probably be Poirier.
Yeah, which is a cool fight.
So
maybe bring Conor back. Finally get.
Well, there's another one. There's another fight.
Wild.
I can't remember the card, but Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. They're fighting. So that could possibly be a championship, like Like, whoever wins that gets a shot. Because Justin Gaethje hasn't had a shot in a while, and he's done nothing but win.
He did against Charles.
And,
he fought Charles, didn't he?
yeah, but outside of that, like, he was starching everybody before then.
That was the no contest fight, wasn't it?
Charles?
Where did Charles miss weight?
Charles missed weight against...
was it Gaethje?
It was against Gaethje.
Yeah, so, like, he
Charles went out there and fucking starched him in fucking 2 minutes.
Yeah, so it's...
for nothing.
Charles Oliveira will be back. I feel like he could have. He may have a shot against Volkanovski.
That's what
like he was the champion before.
Well, you were talking
fight.
about the lightweight situation. So if this is the best roadmap for me, I like to think of roadmaps because like I really do pay attention to the UFC probably more than I fucking should.
I mean,
but
it's cool.
The roadmap that I see for the lightweight division would be perfect. Is Islam Volkanovski, winner of that fights Gaethje or Fiziev, winner of that fights Charles. Winner of that fights for the title. If you do it like that, the timeline will work.
You can't shut Poirier out that long. Though.
I'm not.
He deserves.
Is Poirier beating Charles?
I mean, he looked pretty good against.
Is
Michael
he beating
Chandler.
Charles? That's my argument because
he looks really good against Michael Chandler.
Because like that's the problem is like with this division, I see it as you have one Islam going out there and doing what he did to Charles is very clearly one.
Yeah.
Then you have Charles. Yeah. Then you have 3 A, B, C, and D, and that's Poirier, Chandler, Gaethje.
I feel like Poirier's probably third, and then there's that space. You know what I mean?
I just think that
just because he's beat all those guys,
but those four are so similar to me. When I watch them fight, the only one that separates himself is Michael because he can wrestle.
But Dustin's beat Michael.
I know, but I don't think Dustin beats Charles. That's the problem is you have to get through.
Do you think Michael beats Charles?
No,
exactly. So
he was damn close.
But one of those.
Dustin had a good shot in the fight with Charles too, but Charles got on his back and fucking.
If you wanted to do another Charles Dustin, I would be against it. But I don't think it should be for a title. It should be the next
whoever wins that fight gets a title shot.
The reason I'm saying that is because
Charles deserves a shot because he hasn't had a rematch.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying if they did it like the roadmap that I just put out, it would be perfect because whoever wins this fight would be ready to fight as that circuit's getting done through.
Well, and this is another reason that I really want Volk to win. Volk wants to be active. If Volk is this champ, he will fight with the belt once, maybe even 2 more times.
I feel like Dana would go for a money fight too. I feel like Conor would definitely be in the mix here.
Islam will not.
Islam will
got
maybe
test, fight one more
and that's 6 months of testing. So the very earliest we'll see him is what? It'd be July. It'd be July. Is the very and that's him testing today. The 6 months he fights that next day, and know he's not testing anytime soon. If you've seen the pictures of him.
Yeah, but that's again Islam. I don't think is going to fight much.
No, he'll be a Habib.
Yes, he'll fight maybe twice a year at most,
if that.
So we might get one more fight.
And they have no excuse not to fight because if you look at Habib, if you look at any of them, his fucking brother. Did you see Umar last night?
No.
He fucking dude.
What did the belts go off or something?
No, Umar fiits in UFC. They had a fight night. It was Sean Strickland and some other dude.
He has a brother that fights in Bellator.
Yeah, Usman Nurmagomedov, and he's the champion. Which we'll get to. I'll get to that in a second. But
we got to move on to 285.
Literally only There's pay attention to the top 2 fights.
284. It's going to be pretty wild. I mean, the lightweight championship. That's always. I think it's one of the best divisions in the UFC.
Yeah. It's always been. I think it's the most talented right now. That or bantamweight.
The greatest fights of all time. I mean, you've had Bisping was in there for a while. You had fucking
Connor Diaz.
Oh, if we're talking
George St. Pierre was in there. There's a lot of fighters that were in that division for a long time.
Welterweight would be mine all time. GSP was welterweight.
Heavyweight
didn't he fight in lightweight though? I'm sure he did.
That's a big jump, 170 to 155. Because Bisping was he 185? You got to think Bisping was fighting Silva.
Yeah.
In all them.
Well, Anderson Silva was a light heavyweight.
185. He was the GOAT before Izzy in that division. But we'll move on.
We are going to talk about 285. Guys, John Jones hasn't fought in fucking how long?
Dude, I
When's
got chills when you said his name.
Can you look it up? I want to know. I want to know. Francis Ngannou beats this motherfucker.
The last time
through his wrestling technique, and he doesn't get re-signed to the UFC because they're like,
You know why?
That's not going to sell as better than this fight.
No, you know why they didn't re-sign them? Because they had already had the contract worked out with John. I think the contract had been done for months. They were just waiting to see what was going on with
fucking
Francis.
card.
Right,
we know the main event and no other fights. Like they just
John Jones' last fight was in 2020
against Dominic Reyes.
against Reyes,
and that was close.
February of 2020, so very early into 2020.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've heard, and this is complete rumor, I don't know how true this is. Apparently, Francis Ngannou got offered a contract that would make him the highest paid heavyweight of all time.
That's what Dana said. More than Lesnar, more than
the highest paid ever.
Velasquez.
He turned it down.
So
for whatever reason,
he's probably going to go into boxing.
So here's
also
my
been
thing.
hurt.
I'd like to see him
He's
fight
also been
Tyson
hurt
for
a long time now, and I think that's another reason they stripped him of the belt.
He's old. He's old as shit too. He's
well,
like
here's
35.
I want to say a couple things because I want to kind of alleviate the pressure from the UFC. Like, obviously, I don't want to defend the UFC a lot, but in this situation, somebody brought it to me, and Francis is a more exciting Khabib. He's not great on the mic. He's not, like, outside of his right hand, he doesn't do anything. But like outside of the right hand, he doesn't do anything great, and he fights once a year.
Yeah,
like
John got signed to an 8-fight contract. Like that's what they did. They extended him for 8 fights, and he's 33.
With a light heavyweight division who's roaring, and Cyril gone. You've got Curtis.
John
Blades,
Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. They needed to do this.
So
lock up the heavyweight title for a while.
With the heavyweight fight that is here.
Yeah.
What does everyone think?
John Jones versus
dominates.
I think this is a scary fight for Cyril. And Cyril's saying he doesn't see how John can win. Look how Francis won. And Francis can't hold a candle to John. And this is what's so upsetting about Francis.
The fucking just the nimbleness,
it's
the flexibility.
It's the years of doing it. Yeah. See, if this was a kickboxing match, I'm taking Cyril 10 times out of 10 because Cyril's been doing it its whole life. There's an intricacy with these wrestlers that we see where they've been doing it their entire life, and there's nothing you can do against it. Look at the Nurmagomedov family. Yeah. They've been doing it their entire life, and there's nobody that can compete. Yeah. They're running the UFC.
The same thing with the Khabib's family. John Jones' striking is totally underrated.
John Jones
has been his entire career. He is
a submission threat.
He's a submission threat.
Strike.
He can fucking.
So, is there any? You all have no concerns with John?
Not at all.
I have concerns.
Did you all see the video of him announcing his comeback?
Yeah,
he's massive.
But I'm getting to that. Yeah. I'm worried about how is he going to handle it because if he's fighting at least 60 pounds heavier. I think he'll probably be at the limit. Yeah. If he looks, he looks like he's preparing for Francis.
He may cut a little bit.
Now that he knows he's fighting Cyril.
But still.
Cyril's way more lean.
But even 250, that's 50 pounds. That's 45 pounds over what he was fighting at.
He hasn't fought.
Scary, dude.
He hasn't fought in 3 years.
Yeah, hasn't fought in 3 years.
It'll be 3 years since he's
going
fought
out there
whenever
and
he does
fighting a killer. Cyril Gane's a killer.
He literally was. A lot of people picked him to beat Francis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he won that first round.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first round. I don't want to take stock into it, but he won the first round.
Francis was kind of on the fly being...
He didn't get...
Francis was hurt. And now that I know that, looking back at that fight, you can very well see that this is not Francis. Whether the calmness, I think that was why we were seeing the calmness from Francis, where we were like, oh my God, like he's reeled in, he's calm, he's not running him down. No, because every ligament in his leg was gone.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that John Jones is back. I do want to see if he can do the same things that he did at light heavyweight, but even if he can do a fraction of that, and mainly the wrestling and submission threat, it'll be enough for this fight.
He has the deepest toolbox of any fighter in the UFC. In UFC history.
We all agree we think he's the GOAT. But also, will this change anything? If he comes out here and he gets his ass beat, or if he even loses by very close, whatever, how does this hurt his legacy if he loses?
It's your fault. You were fucking up. You were being an idiot. You got suspended multiple times. You were doing dumb shit. You were doing coke. You weren't training. That got you in trouble. So you took a layoff of 3 years and you come back in and try to essentially.
Will he be looked at different? Will he be looked at as the greatest?
It's just gonna solidify what everybody already thinks.
Well, I was gonna say, is he looked at as the greatest lightweight? ever or light heavyweight ever rather than the greatest UFC fighter ever if he loses this fight.
It will separate it.
I don't think
he has to win the title.
His legacy doesn't end with just the first fight within the heavyweight division.
Because it is
if he
could
is
fight
continuing
and beat any, like he could destroy Derek Lewis. I feel like he could like.
We don't know this. We haven't seen him fight in 3 years.
You don't think he could beat Tai Tuivasa? Like
yeah, but I don't think Tai Tuivasa is as good of a heavyweight as people think he is.
It's hard. This is for me
like
to put this in like football terms. Yeah. It's hard to see like, do I think like C.J. Stroud,
like Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. Like, do I think that like a player like that can come back and be
perfect argument?
Yeah,
I mean, outside of what they did, of course, they're very comparable.
Yeah,
people.
But like, do I think that he can come back and he can be the best quarterback in the league? Of course. Do I think he can be the best fighter in the UFC again? Absolutely.
If he may be rusty,
but he keeps that bag. Yeah. It's like how could you not?
But
how could he not be a favorite?
And I have a lot of concern, and I think. I get it. Like right now, like if this fight was today, I think I would put my money on Cyril.
It's
just
a safer
because
bet. We've seen Cyril,
and
Cyril just ran through Tai. Yeah. Tai's a good fighter, but he just walked through Tai. So it's like.
But Cyril's also like super technical.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He's not just a striker. He's not just a wrestler.
He's a heavyweight Izzy.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
He's a very versatile fighter. So,
I want to.
That was the two things I wanted to know the most. Like any concerns, and then how is it hurt his legacy?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
want to poke on something else. I'm not going to talk about the politics of what's going on with the UFC. Everybody knows what the fuck's going on.
We really don't need to bring it up because
we don't need to bring it up. But I want to bring up a little bit on the Francis thing, and then I want to bring up what PFL is doing because PFL is doing an amazing thing that I love. PFL is doing a circuit for. I gotta find it. I can't remember what division it is.
I'm assuming it's going to relate to Francis in some way.
Well, no, it's just I kind of want the UFC to adopt this model. It makes a lot of things a lot easier. You're letting
the scheduling is a lot smoother. Yeah,
so they're doing. I didn't even think of that. Jake Paul signed with PFL. Mm-hmm. Whatever you think about him now, that's out the window. He's a real fighter.
Yeah, it's a legitimate.
I felt that way about him. I felt like he has the ability to be a competitor in boxing, but now that he's going to UFC, we can't, or PFL, we can't like
discount it.
He's a real fighter now. He's not having no cupcakes.
I don't think a promotion like that signs a guy if they don't think he's good enough. Like maybe
it's the money though.
The only
it's
time
Jake
that you
Paul.
would think, like if you think it's kind of like a CM Punk situation where he went to the UFC. Yeah. I don't think it's the same. I just think that Jake actually gives a fuck about his craft. Doesn't change the fact that he's a
I'm trying to
human,
find it. It's pissing me off. Oh, okay, yeah. It's a light. So Bellator's doing a lightweight Grand Prix. Now they are doing it's pretty much a tournament for that division. But the first fight for that is Usman Nurmagomedov and Benson Henderson. Usman Nurmagomedov is the lightweight champion over in PFL right now. His belt's up that very first fight. So he's not only going to have to defend the belt could change multiple times through this circuit, through this Grand Prix. And I like the idea of it because Usman's not protected at the beginning of, he's round one. He's the first fight breaking it off. He's not protected. He has to defend his belt. And then he's going to have to go and do it again. What happens if
What's
Benson
the time
wins?
span between those fights, though?
I'm sure it'll be normal.
Most guys don't recover the same way. Mm-hmm. That's what would be kind of dangerous to me. Mm-hmm. Is what if someone gets injured through?
It's not going to be back to back to back. I'm thinking it'll be.
I'm just saying within a couple months of each other, maybe not. I don't think that would be.
I would like.
Fair to the fighters, and they don't get paid enough. They don't have guaranteed health care.
I like it because it makes money. It known. Hey, this is my fight even way beforehand. You don't have to worry about where the UFC had the dead period at the end of the year last year where they were we're just ending the year and you don't have that. This is going to be
they had a lot of scheduling issues later in the year because of missed weight. In fuck-ups within the scheduling and the fighters weren't being held accountable for their shit and they would come in underweight or overweight and they got dominated or they just didn't get to fight. A lot of disqualifications and shit. The UFC had a bad end of the year last year, I think.
It was ugly.
There was the last three.
Well, Hamzat missed fucking weight.
Yeah.
Yuri tore his shoulder out.
that was
you
within
had
one
the Francis
card, so.
thing looming over your head
Yeah.
for years. But I think I like the Grand Prix idea. I'm not going to talk too much more on it. I would like if the UFC would somehow adopt it. And outside of that, the only other thing I want to talk about is possible places for Francis because he is an unrestricted free agent. No, UFC release the choice to match offer sheets. So like they're not going to match.
I mean, I think
I
he's
would
the
say
biggest star in
PFL is
Bellator.
probably number one.
PFL would be a good one.
Boxing's probably second. A sleeper is Bare Knuckle Fight Club. Just sleep. Just if it's a dark horse to get them, because who's fucking beating Francis in bare knuckle fighting? Nobody. Easy money, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about it, because with the UFC, with the things that are looming over the head, like the possibility of Dana stepping down, even like all these things, Dana steps down, you lose Rogan, like. UFC, the MMA.
I don't necessarily think
Rogan has already said multiple times, the day that Dana retires, I'm done. He's not staying with the UFC after Rogan.
I mean,
we'll see.
They would make him an offer he can't refuse because he's like
he can refuse it. He signed $500 million with Spotify. He does.
That's
not
true.
care.
He doesn't need the money.
He's done. He is. He.
Honestly, it seems like he's doing a favor for Dana sticking around this long because he's been doing it since the early.
Well, he's got to
2000s.
deal with everything that happens with the UFC because it's like, oh, like you're a supporter of Dana. So
I don't think Dana's the worst guy, but
I don't know.
He's a billionaire, so that's
recent things that just happened make me think otherwise.
He's not the greatest.
I don't. That's
he could do
I don't
some
think he's
better
a good,
things.
like a great guy, obviously, but I just don't think he's the worst guy. I think that.
But with this,
there's far worse things than he did than that.
With this shakeup, I feel like
it's pretty bad, and that's saying a lot considering that he fucking.
With this shakeup, with Francis leaving, with all the shit that's going on, I wouldn't be surprised if we're not going to see a power shift. PFL isn't taking over, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of these other fighting companies get more viewers because of like the stuff that's going on. Like people are going to leave because of their ideology. People are going to do their thing. Like, just watch it. Francis will be somewhere soon. We'll know what Francis is doing.
He needs to be somewhere. I would love to see the Tyson Fury.
I would.
That you wouldn't like to see
Hell
that?
no. He ain't beating Tyson. He has to. That's the same thing with Deontay Wilder. You have to knock him out. If you don't, he's going to box your head off. I would like to see him fight
Deontay.
I'd rather see that. That at least let them go in there and slobber knock each other for fucking 12 rounds. Just go in there and beat the absolute dog shit. But Tyson's too technical and he moves too good. Well, Francis hasn't fought somebody that moves like that.
There's not a ceiling on Francis other than his health. I think he can learn how to fight in a square ring. But you know what I mean?
It's just comparing it to one of the greatest heavyweight boxers ever.
Tyson's the GOAT. I'm not even gonna.
It'd be scary. I just think Francis would probably have a bad night.
Yeah. Well, you want to wrap up UFC?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Now to the fun part. I mean, that was fun, but we're gonna talk about another fun part. Dude, this is one of the coolest segments we've done. I think.
I'm excited for it.
So,
try and close all these fucking.
Here's what we're gonna do, and
we're gonna have a lot to say about them. So
there's a lot of fucking things to say about this. We're doing our top 25 NFL players of 2022-2023 season.
Where's my phone?
So, the way that we decided to do this, we're not including players that obviously would be within the top 25 that missed like a substantial.
Huh?
Players that missed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anybody on my list that really missed a crazy amount of games.
If players miss more than like 4 games, like a quarter of the season.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is the very big example.
The biggest
one.
Jamar
Chase.
D-Hop.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He was the best safety in the NFL.
And
missed
D-Hop.
5 games. DeAndre Hopkins.
If D-Hop doesn't miss 6 games, he's on every single person's top 25 list in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that will not make the list because of that stipulation.
Speaking of D-Hop, I just watched the fucking Hard Knocks. I didn't realize that team was that bad. They were fucking terrible this year.
They were bad.
But if you watch the Hard Knocks, they do a really good job of being like, dude, look, D-Hop was gone 8 games. Kyler Murray tore his ACL. After that, their GM stepped down.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury got fired.
The writing was on the wall there.
They had so much shit going on. It was an abysmal.
Maybe in last call, along with what we're gonna, like, we have a theme for our last call this week. We'll also bring up like some NFL news because there's been a couple of things that have been brought up. Obviously,
I don't think that you have an honorable mentions.
You don't have an honorable mention.
So,
I
do you want to do
I
your
have a
honorable
couple people.
If you want to shout out any people that
I'll just shout
for sure
out.
didn't make your list, go for it.
So
since you don't have too many, you can go first, and we'll just go.
I think
way.
it's.
You can go next, bro.
I mean, I'm really only. I'm trying to look. I think I would. All right, so I got 2 running backs.
That for sure didn't make your list.
For sure didn't make my list, but are on a mission. I'm gonna go Nick Chubb and
Miles Sanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
The big thing that changed it because it would have been Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler had 107 receptions this year.
Yeah.
He's 5th in receptions.
Yeah,
That's
30 touchdowns
huge.
over the past 2 years as well. Like it's a testament to his consistency.
I think the lack of a big the lack of big other
Yeah.
the lack of other stats to really carry where a lot of these other edge rushers had it. I think Matt Judon is like 26 because he was.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he was.
Dude, there was
the lead.
We're going to talk about it more, but there are guys that I'm like, I don't know how they don't make the list, but they're not. And it makes me so fucking mad. We were going to do a top 50 originally.
And then Jamar Chase.
But
because he still finished with over 1,000 yards.
For the sake of brevity, we want to
touchdowns.
keep it like relatively short. Like 25 players, that's 75 players total. We're going to be talking about these guys a lot.
So
and they're all going to be on the same we
have
the same 25 players.
We have a lot of players that are
I
similar.
think mine's gonna be different.
So you have yours listed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
My honorable mentions. So first little breakdown. All of these players I think would have 100% made my top 25 list if they played more games. D-Hop, Jamar Chase, T.J. Watt, Justin Simmons, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Breece Hall, and Brock Purdy.
Breece Hall, top 25 player.
He was on pace.
He was
on pace.
He was chewing. I'll give him that.
He had like multiple games of over 100 yards. Like he was fucking good. He was the best player on the Jets.
It's so hard.
So those 7 players I think would have made my list if they just got to play more of the season. And then these are players that like Justin Tucker is on this. He didn't make my list, but
best kicker in the NFL.
He's the best kicker in the NFL. He should be there. And then these were like
It's hard
really,
to put a kicker.
Yeah. And these were really, really close. These are probably my 26, 27, and 28. And Saquon.
Yep.
Justin Fields. And Jamal Williams.
Get the fuck out of here.
And Jamal Williams.
Leading the league 17
in
touchdowns?
Yeah, leading the league in rushing touchdowns.
No, Brock Purdy. That's what I said. How he has played, if he played this entire season, how he has played, he's top 25 easy.
Yeah.
But we didn't see him, though.
He didn't even qualify for any of the stats. I have a lot of with all these players, I have their stats listed.
Yeah. I don't know if I said Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp was also on that.
Yeah.
If he played the entire year, he's on my list.
All right. So,
and then yours.
I've got 10 guys. I didn't actually go off of players that wouldn't have made it if they played more games. I just listed the guys that I thought were worthy of potentially being on the list, but I definitely have reasons for why they're not. Hassan Reddick, second in sacks with 16, 11 tackles for loss, tied for 30th, had 5 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, had no Defensive Player of the Year buzz.
Arguably one of the best signings of the
offseason.
The
the team led the NFL in sacks with 70. He was the leader on the team in sacks. He's just dominant, dude. Coming from the Panthers. He's a Temple guy, so he's back in his hometown. Great season. Saquon Barkley, 1,312 yards, 4th overall in yards. He had 295 attempts.
More Saquon, not in your top 25?
Both of us had him in our honorable.
So Saquon was 4th in yards with 1,312, 4th in attempts with 295, and he was 25th in yards per carry with 4.4. He had 10 touchdowns, which was 9th. Matt Judon didn't make my list. 15.5 sacks, tied for 4th. He had 14 tackles for loss, which was tied for 13th. 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. Justin Herbert didn't make my list. He was 2nd in passing yards. He was tied for 8th in touchdowns. He was 21st in interceptions, and he was 12th in QBR. Social media quarterback.
Oh my God, he's not.
Minka Fitzpatrick did not make my list, which is unfortunate. He was tied for first in picks.
I think in my opinion, he was the best.
He was very close to making my list, but there was a couple guys I was like, no, they have to be on. And the Steelers not making the playoffs. I had some portion of that where the winning mattered, but not in every case. He had 11 pass deflections, 24th overall in the NFL. Then we got Chris Jones, didn't make it. 15.5 sacks, tied with Matt Judon, 4th. And he had 17 tackles for loss, which was 7th in the NFL. 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery. One of the best players on the Chiefs, All-Pro.
Yeah.
That's pretty just crazy. So he didn't make it. There's a lot of guys on here. I don't know. He was borderline. Joel Patonio Had 2 sacks allowed all year, 4 penalties total in 17 games. Dominant fucking guard for the Browns. Yeah, the Browns. Yeah, he was on the Browns. Okay. Got Miles Sanders. Didn't make the list. Unfortunate. 5th in rushing, 1,269 yards, 259 attempts. He was high up there in yards per carry. He was 8th in attempts, and he had 4.9 yards per carry, 13th overall. 11 touchdowns. That's 8th. Got Brock Purdy, even though he missed like a majority of the season because he didn't start. 4 games, he had 1,374 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions,
God,
a 65.3 QBR.
We're not saying hope. We're literally just.
So if
he literally just read off his stats. You hope.
Yeah, but
In
I
4
don't
games,
think I don't think he plays this well over an entire season. Like he's gonna have his ups.
He didn't
and
get the
downs.
opportunity.
He didn't get the opportunity.
Based off of the
That's our
sample
argument.
size we have to work with, he was great. So
That's
he's on
the only
he's on my
argument we
honorable
have
mentions.
it's the
Didn't have any linebackers make it, unfortunately. Roquan Smith is the one that I have a mention for. He had 169 tackles. That's 3rd in the NFL. 103 that were solo. He had 4.5 sacks as a linebacker. They were stunting him.
Good.
He was stunting so much with the Bears.
Yeah.
And then when he went to the Ravens, he was still doing the same shit.
Yeah.
So
we still have him.
got Javon Hargrave. Great interior defensive lineman for the Eagles. Had 11 sacks. That's tied for 14th as an interior rusher. That's fucking incredible. Had 10 tackles for losses, which was tied for 38th. 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. Best season overall for him. I think he was definitely like deserving of a All-Pro nod. I think he was snubbed for the Pro Bowl as well. So like he didn't make the Pro Bowl. Like 11 sacks as an interior rusher. You only have a couple guys that do that, and he did it this season. He didn't make it. So that's my honorable mentions. That's 10 guys.
You want to just, since you're going, keep going?
Yep. Let's go with 25. Brennan, you're going to love this. Geno Smith.
Ooh.
25. Geno Smith made this list.
You said running back.
Oh, yeah, I got it mixed up. That's my bad. Damn.
I
thought it was. I thought I had it.
You're good.
Geno Smith had 82 yards. He was 8th in the NFL. 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
4th.
I do not have stats associated with mine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna have similar players. Geno Smith, he's got great numbers. Tied for 22nd in the NFL in interceptions. He had 11, and he was tied for 5th in the NFL for QBR. That's 61.1. Geno Smith is on my top 25.
Yeah.
He was great. He made the Pro Bowl in the NFC. One of the best seasons for a Seahawks quarterback ever, which is fucking insane. Yeah. So, Geno Smith.
My number 25 is Austin Eckler.
Okay.
My biggest reasoning is he is, out of the best running backs, he is the worst true running back, but the best receiver.
Yeah, he
best
he is
receiver.
He is CMC
That's
worse,
what I was
but worse. Like he really is. Like
Yeah.
and it's kind of crazy. Like, but he's
not as productive rushing the ball. When it comes to catching, he's probably just as good.
yeah, he's the 7th best in total yards, and the amount of touchdowns is just absolutely ridiculous.
I would like to see what he
he
would
has
do in
18?
a system.
Like, he has 18
total
touchdowns this year.
touchdowns.
Like,
That's fucking insane for a running back.
yeah. So like, there's that credit there. He obviously showed out, but
The thing about it, the record is like 26, and that was LaDainian Tomlinson back in like 2004 or whatever the fuck.
I'd
that's
like
why
to
he's at
happened.
25. That's why he's not higher.
I'd
If
like to see
his
him.
running production was higher,
Yeah.
he would skyrocket on this list. But as a running back, his
Yeah.
numbers are so low. But as a receiver, his numbers are
Yep.
crazy.
I'd like to see him in an offense that probably runs more because they throw the ball probably more than most teams. They're probably a top
Justin
5
Herbert, he
fucking-
was what in attempts? How many attempts did he have? I didn't even put it.
They're probably top 5 in.
But he was second in passing
attempts.
yards. So,
yeah, like they
they
mine
passed a
would
lot.
probably
25.
I'm not agreeing with what you said. I think Roquan Smith is 25.
Okay.
Like he was in Defensive Player of the Year talks, all the stats that you said. I mean, he really shored up.
Top 3 in tackles overall, top 3 in
The thing
solo
with me
tackles.
is he went to a terrible defense and shored up a lot of their problems.
Yeah.
The fucking Ravens were abysmal.
They were inconsistent. I don't think they were terrible. They were
were
definitely
blowing
not great.
games.
Yes, that's the big
That's
thing.
the
They were
big.
blowing
They were
games,
blowing
yeah.
games where they were 20, 30 points over.
They
It's
could be
unacceptable.
had until they got an elite linebacker in the middle.
And I think think him paired with Patrick Queen is going to be really good for next few years. Roquan Smith.
That interior linebacking core is so great.
And then you can immediately go into your 24 whenever you're done talking about it.
24, I'm probably going to go Eckler.
Okay.
I 107 receptions.
It's insane. That's what I'm saying.
As a running back.
Yeah.
As a running back.
I don't even know if Christian McCaffrey's done that, over 100 receptions.
He ain't stayed healthy enough to do it.
I mean, he did have a fucking MVP season, so.
This year, I'm just talking about every other year. He's missed considerable
Christian
time.
McCaffrey is one of those guys that won 1,000, so.
I know that. I'm not arguing.
He had a healthy season. I just don't know if I don't know if he broke 100 receptions.
A full healthy season at the 49ers, he probably does.
Yeah, he's probably top 5 in yards.
We're talking about he was at the Panthers who
were terrible.
Were abysmal.
They were fucking bad.
He had 85 receptions.
85 receptions that
year?
That's
the most in his career?
No, that's this year.
Oh, what's the most in his career?
Maybe he did break 100.
That's what I'm saying.
With Cam Newton in his MVP season?
Right now it's just showing 2022. See, it's just showing the 2022.
So 2015 is what I'm assuming. He had the best season.
But we'll keep it moving. Unless you have more to say about Eckler. My 24 is my best lineman and my only lineman to make my list, Lane Johnson.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He just does not. I mean, he just does great.
He hasn't allowed a sack in how many years now?
Yeah, it's insane. It's honestly just the lack of stats that he has is why he is so good.
I'll have stats for some.
He just doesn't allow anything to happen.
Yeah. So, it's
that
all pro.
Yeah.
I mean, how many selections is it? 5 at this point out of Oklahoma? Since
only offensive lineman.
Yeah. I've got a couple.
Yeah.
All right. My 24, I got Nick Chubb. 1,525 yards, third. He had 302 attempts, which is also third. 5.1 yards per carry at ninth.
322 times carrying a
He had 12 rushing touchdowns, which was tied for fifth. Nick Chubb was the offense for a while in Cleveland, and then they kind of didn't go to him for a little bit, and don't know why. He was fucking dominant all year, over 1,500 yards rushing. That's insane. But let's move on to 23. Got Josh Allen. I wish he was higher. I think he was. His game against the Patriots.
I don't agree with either of y'all's list so far.
His game against the Patriots makes the case for him as a top 10 player, in the NFL. Because I don't know if any person other than Patrick Mahomes can make the throws he makes. He was 7th in yards with 4,283. He had 35 touchdowns, which was tied for second with Joe Burrow. He had 14 interceptions. That's where it kind of his turnovers were really bad. He had 30 on the year because he lost a lot of fumbles as well. But he had the second best overall QBR at 71.2, and it definitely reflects because the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL, dominant. And yeah, we're gonna talk about them more later on. But Josh Allen, so that's my 23.
My 23 is Nick Chubb.
Okay.
Honestly, it was a sure in. He was the best running back in the league very early into this year, and then he kind of slowed down, but still ended up as the third most
I think it was after Josh Jacobs had his greatest game of his life.
Yeah, that was insane.
It was around that time.
But he ended up even being passed by Derrick Henry, who had a slow start as well.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't
Nick
fucking
Chubb.
go to him for so many games in a row. It was annoying. I'm sorry.
But no, Nick Chubb is arguably the best, probably second best, but true running backs.
Yeah.
Doesn't really catch the ball.
Bruiser.
Just runs it straight up the middle.
Because he's so good, fucking Kareem Hunt didn't get any touches later in the year. So that's how good he's been.
Yeah. Nick Chubb is still that guy, and for me, he comes in at 23.
Yep.
My 23 is my first wide receiver is A.J. Brown.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's so hard because he's so good, but if I'm being honest, it's not comparable to the top 4 receivers I have on here. It's not. It's.
I want to talk about him.
I didn't know.
You don't know
what you. I didn't know what you was doing.
Okay.
I'll
show you.
I know what you're talking about now.
He had what was it? So he had 88 receptions for 1,496, so almost 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns. Like I said, it's really hard, but he is.
I'm just glad he made your list.
He is the lowest. Man. Well, he takes the place of Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
He is where Nick Chubb would be. in my opinion. But I don't think Nick Chubb was better than the running backs that I have on my list.
Yeah, I got you.
Even with
all right.
the
What about your
situations.
22?
Yeah.
22, I'm gonna go Zach Martin. I really like I have a few offensive linemen. I don't think there's one. I
fucked up. You're good. I fucked up. It's nothing to do with y'all.
I mean, he's the best offensive lineman on that offensive line who was shuffling players in and out a lot. I mean, they had a lot of tackle issues. They had a lot of anything, but the one mainstay was Zach Martin, and he was
like Tyron Smith wasn't, and like he missed how many?
He
games?
missed a lot of
So they had
times.
Tyler
Jason
Smith over
Peters
there.
was in and
Jason
out of the
Peters got
lineup.
signed, yeah.
Like the
Tyler
Cowboys
Smith played right tackle for a while. He played left guard. Like he was all across the line.
He shuffled a lot, and the one mainstay was
Zach Martin was the guy the entire year.
So Zach Martin's at my 22.
Yeah,
my 22 is AJ Brown.
Fuck yeah.
I believe he is my 5th best receiver.
Yeah,
that's how I felt. I felt
like
he's the 5th
as well.
best receiver this year.
There's another player that he helped a whole bunch jump a lot higher on this list, and I will say that he would not nearly be as high as he was if it was not for the signing of AJ Brown.
AJ Brown also was like a
trade,
contributor for Devontae Smith.
Devontae, yes,
top 10 in yards. He was
my feeling with that is I think it was everything. Like like AJ was the biggest signing, but it was like.
There was so much
all of the signings made just everything easier for everybody.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But adding a true number one receiver like AJ Brown, but if
we're sitting here talking about it, dude, like imagine if Devontae had the opportunities that AJ was taking, dude. Devontae was really good this year. I was really happy to watch.
I think that
see him play.
He is.
Like, what was the separation in yards between them? He was 1,500, so it's about 400 yards.
It was he had 1,100, like 20 something. So it was like
1196. And AJ had 1496.
So literally 300
exactly
yards.
300, yeah. But yeah, again, I think more than anything, not to discredit Devontae, I think AJ being the true one, Devontae being that true two, helps Devontae jump
Devontae
into
Smith should be
this.
a true number one on so many fucking teams.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of teams with bad receivers.
Yeah, he wouldn't be my favorite number one receiver, but he is arguably my favorite number 2.
Yeah. In the NFL. I mean, Jalen Waddle and him. Yeah, that's like the two guys.
T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins, and then you got like Adam Thielen. Or Chris Godwin, maybe.
Yeah. There's a lot of good
number 2 receivers in the NFL.
But, you're number
all right, so we got 22. This is where I fucked up. Chris Jones. He was in my honorable mentions. He's actually on the list. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, 15 and a half sacks. 15 and a half sacks. That's tied for 4th in the NFL. 17 tackles for losses. Tied for 7th. 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery. All pro, dude. And Kansas City's defense has been kind of leaky. He's been the reason why they've been good. Like, at times. So, like, any pass rush they generate, Chris Jones is in it.
Yep.
Moving on to 21, though, got Zach Martin. Here's the stats, though. All year, 17 games he started on an offensive line that was kind of beat up a little bit and moving around parts. He allowed a half sack, and that's it through his entire season. And he had 1 penalty. So, false start probably, or holding. Like, those kill drives, like holding penalties, kill drives, that's a big portion of why, like, I took that into account when I was listing the linemen on the list.
Yeah.
But half a sack allowed, 1 penalty in 17 games. He's the best Cowboy, arguably. So that's why he's there. That's my 21.
My 21 is Geno Smith.
Fuck yeah.
Comeback player of the year.
I'm surprised he's that high.
He's about to sign.
I'm actually not surprised.
A big O contract.
You think?
Yeah.
He's already announced he's coming back.
Yeah.
Or they've already announced he's coming back.
They're going to re-sign him. Worst case scenario, they're going to franchise tag him. But everyone already wrote off the Seahawks, us included. We all said that they were going to be a pretty mediocre
like
at best
wins,
team. And they ended up making the playoffs. And on top of that, they were supposed to be the front runner for one of these 2 phenomenal quarterbacks coming into the draft.
Yeah.
And now they're sticking
Who's
with
going
him.
to start, him or Drew Lock? Like,
yeah.
that was
they're
the
still
conversation.
picking fucking, what is it?
They're picking
high
5th, I think.
Because
the
Broncos.
Rams.
Like, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with
the
that.
Broncos, my bad.
And it's cool to see Geno on my list, and Russ isn't even an honorable
That might
mention.
be my that
So.
might be my honorable call because that last game showed a lot. I don't necessarily want to put 100% of the blame on him on Wilson.
We're going to talk
That
about the
last
games
game
for
showed
sure.
a lot, but my 20 what?
You're 21 and 20. 21
I know,
and
I'm
20.
Dexter Lawrence.
Oh yeah,
One of the best defensive linemen this year. I mean, Pro Football Focus, and I don't like it, but they had him I don't like Pro Football Focus, but they had him graded as one of the top defensive linemen all year. I mean, he was a mainstay in a defense that was really turned the tide, in my opinion. Like, I mean,
they were definitely like
I don't
playing
think
above average. Like they
I
were
don't
playing
think-
above expectation.
yeah, I don't think anybody expected them to do this. I mean,
The
7.5
coaching staff got a lot more out of the Giants defense as a whole, and Dexter Lawrence has had his best year of all.
seven and a
his
half
entire
sacks is low, but when you realize he's an interior lineman, you're like, oh, well, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's
I mean,
why I had
it's-
the argument for Javon Hargrave. Like,
It's hard. You can't
so
rate
difficult.
defensive linemen,
and
in
to
my
think
opinion, by
Aaron Donald gets 20 sacks in a good year. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking insane.
Dexter
Goddamn.
Lawrence. And then I don't like this, but the reason I'm doing it is because the fucking Rams have been terrible all year. And
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner was the only good thing they had.
Well,
The only bright spot.
Jalen Ramsey, like those.
But even Jalen was like,
He
I
had a
think
down year.
Jalen
Aaron
played
Donald
worse
had a
than.
down year. There was
I
a
think
couple
Jalen
guys.
played worse. Jalen and Aaron played worse than Bobby did.
Yeah.
Like Bobby, was going there like, oh, this is his last hurrah. He's just gonna go try and win a ring. And like, no, he's a fucking main contributor on their defense. And was one of the only players I mean, how many All Pros has he been to? I don't want to talk about history, but at the middle linebacker position, he's probably leading, if not one of the top two. I mean, the only person I think that could be over him is Ray Lewis, just off of All Pros and the amount of times he's been to Pro Bowls. But Bobby Wagner's still that dude.
Yep.
My number 20 is Hassan Reddick. I think he's
Damn, he made your list.
Yeah, I think he's like the biggest sleeper on defense by the easiest of the biggest of margins. I think that he should have at least gotten some defensive player of the year credits, but he didn't.
We talked
obviously,
about this,
and
in a
you already
segment
brought
last
up his you already brought up his stats, and you did previous week. If you don't know, he is a big reason that the Eagles' defense is so damn good.
Yeah, I mean, they led the league in sacks with 70. They were 2 away from tying the record all time.
Yeah,
And he led the team
and
in
he was
sacks.
2 behind.
Yeah, he was 2.5. Because
2.5
Nick
behind.
ended with 18.5.
Yeah, behind Nick.
But that's insane. Like, Nick
Yeah.
missed 2 games. Hassan didn't miss any games. But,
yes, but still.
But I mean, that's cool.
Big
It's
sleeper.
cool he made your list. I
Yeah.
think that's where this gets fun, I guess. It's
Yeah.
like, I didn't want to be super biased about the
No, I get
Eagles,
it.
you know? I don't know. So,
get it.
moving on to my 20. Love this guy. You're a big fan of this guy.
Oh yeah.
Stephon Diggs.
Oh,
He is my my lowest receiver on the list.
5th receiver.
Yeah. So he had 108 receptions, which was 4th in the NFL. And that was the thing. Like, his average yards per catch were kind of low, but it's because he had so many. 1,429 yards, which was 5th. And he had 11 touchdowns, which was tied for 3rd. And like I said, his average per catch is
One less game.
Yeah. Because of the Bengals game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
He may have passed AJ Brown and some of the other guys
Yeah.
ahead of him with that.
He definitely would have led in.
He would have been probably top 3 in yards
Yeah.
if he was able to finish the game. But we know what happened. He had 13.2 yards per catch, which is 29th in the NFL. So he gets a lot of receptions, but still he's averaging over a first down every catch. 19, Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen.
Yeah.
Rookie fucking corner, dude. I wanted this guy
corners were
so
good.
much. I wanted him so much on the Eagles. I don't know why we couldn't get him. 6 interceptions, which is tied for first. Played every game. 4th in pass deflections in the NFL, which is tied with a bunch of other guys. 16. Best Seattle defender, easily.
Yeah.
He was so good. He's probably one of the best Seattle players. He is one of 2 players from Seattle that made this list, and that's it. Had 2 Seattle players on this list, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he was the best. But that's it. I got
my number 19 is a player we've already talked about. Mm-hmm. It's Roquan Smith.
Okay.
For a lot of the same reasons that have been brought up.
Yep.
The way that he helped a defense that needed it, you could immediately see his impact. You could see that he was the leader. And just the fact that he was able to be traded into a new team and there was no rust, there was no adjustment period. He just jumped right in and he was just him. He, I don't know, showed why he earned the contract that he just got.
The big learning curve, in my opinion, with just switching to a new team would just be the terminology. Mm-hmm. The sets are the same. The defenses are the same. I mean, and he was
like the leader out there a lot of time. Like,
well, that's why I think they made the move. Yeah. Was they needed a leader, and they were like, we know Roquan's a leader. We know he can get the signals out there. Like, let's bring somebody in and just teach him the words.
Yeah, but like. Whenever you're
plus, all you gotta do is hit people.
Yeah, when we're talking about like CMC, he has to learn the plays, and like it is an adjustment.
That's a big,
but like it is a big difference. Whenever you're talking about like Roquan Smith, he came in and he had to then lead a defense. Like it's not like trading for a quarterback halfway through the year.
Yeah,
and that's what this feels like for defensive wise.
It feels like it, but I'm not like I get what you're saying. I just think it's like it's probably easier, like just because like I do think. Outside, it's just the terminology.
I don't necessarily know what the system.
Chicago
really
and
but I'm assuming.
Well, Chicago. If you look at the history of Chicago and you look at the history of the Ravens, they both had great linebackers that were able to do. I mean, even Brian Urlacher, even like
Ray Lewis. I mean,
their linebacker. I think they're probably very. I think a lot of the terminology is probably the same between the two. If you it was probably, and then he just had to go in there and just like. I think his biggest learning curve was going in there and being like, look, like they brought me in here to be like this. Yeah. Like he played in a defense where at the beginning of his career he wasn't the best player because of Khalil Mack. Yeah. And then Eddie Jackson was having ungodly types of seasons, so it's hard to be the best player.
He was with Khalil Mack until literally this year.
Yeah.
They had like Robert Quinn and they had a bunch of guys on the defense.
Like it's like I think his biggest learning curve was probably coming in and being like, "I'm the man." Like you guys had not. And he was able to listen to me.
He's got to own the room, and I mean, he just got paid a fucking bag.
Yeah. And that's why
he's got to reflect it.
Yeah, and that's why he's on my top 25. Is he was able to. This is his first year being that true leader. He did it on 2 different teams.
Yep.
So you're 19.
19 and 18.
Yeah.
Tariq Woolen.
Yeah.
19. I mean, it's just. He's my lowest rated corner, and I'm probably got.
How you gonna copy me, bro?
Well, because it was that or Lane Johnson, and Lane Johnson was better than fucking Tariq Woolen this year.
Is that your 18?
Yeah, Lane Johnson. So, I mean, the fucking this the same thing with Zach Martin. It's like these offensive linemen are such mainstays. They're plug and plays. Like you just don't they haven't called Lane Johnson's number in in the practice. Like not even like. Thinking of like switching him out. Like it's just every year he's there, he fucking dominates. It's no different this year.
I think it's when it comes to like consistency. I don't know how he gets better than Lane Johnson, but
I think there's one person. There's one person.
There's one guy on,
but
we'll talk about him for sure.
Yeah.
All right, my 18. It was sad to see him so low. My favorite player in the NFL, Stephon Diggs.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Sauce.
No, Sauce is very close, but yeah. I think playing that extra game, maybe he could have jumped up a couple extra spots, but
he has the numbers for sure.
Yeah, he is
up
there
of the best
on everything.
In the NFL.
Yeah, and he's the number 1 receiver, so not much more to say about it other than just his slow year last year. Still was a Pro Bowler this year. He's back into action and. He's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yep. My 18, Sauce Gardner. Dude is so good.
Yep.
Yeah. He is my third corner. Or no, my second corner. He's like the second highest corner on the list. Yeah. So, with 2 interceptions, he's tied for 55th, but nobody was targeting this motherfucker. Like,
yeah.
Because guess what? He was batting down passes like crazy.
I think a lot.
Number 1 in the NFL in passes
I'm not taking
deflecting.
away from him because he was dominant, but that defense played so well, especially in the defensive line. Like I'm so excited.
Whenever he's locking down,
that's what I was saying. Like you have one of the best corners in the league locking down. They're all young. Quentin Williams is young. Jeremiah Johnson's young. You've got all
Jermaine
these,
Johnson.
or Jermaine Johnson. You've got all these fucking studs, and they're all 1, 2, 3 years in the league. And then you've got a vet and C.J. Mosley standing in the middle. Like, he didn't make my top 25, but C.J. Mosley's probably a top 100 player this year.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Like, it's.
There's a lot of good Jets. That's what's so disappointing about the Jets. Like, they fucking failed because of their quarterback play. Yeah. They could have been dangerous in the playoffs if they made it. With Sauce Gardner, he had 20 passes deflected. That was number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah,
one of the highest graded corners in the NFL first year, dude. He is so good.
You can't get rid of those. You can't take away from.
He's
those
a tape
numbers.
fiend. Like dude, best player on Cincinnati last year, by far. It wasn't even close. Like, he was picked 4th overall for a reason. Probably could have went number 1 overall. 17 though, AJ Brown, 88 receptions, which is 13th in the NFL, 1,496 yards, which is 4th. He was tied for 3rd in touchdowns, 11, and he had the 4th highest average in the NFL at 17.
I think the receptions brought it down for me.
The thing about it is that he didn't have his quarterback for the final 2 games of the season against poor competition. Or 2 games that Jalen was out. So, against the Saints, I feel
2 games that would have added to those totals.
Yeah, like, he could have probably had over 100 receptions if Jalen was there.
That was what the thing with me was, because all his other stats line up, but it's like the receptions are just such a discrepancy from the top.
He broke 1,400 yards and he was 13th in receptions. Imagine getting 100 receptions. Yeah, he probably would have led the league in yards, which is crazy.
That's hard.
Well, I mean, if you literally go by his average and had him lead,
if you average it out,
so he would have had 1,700 yards.
That's still second.
So 1,700 yards at 100 receptions. Yeah. So he's one of the best.
That's crazy. That puts it. I mean, he's high on all
second
of our
team
lists,
All-Pro.
That puts in perspective his fucking season.
Yeah.
There's only a couple guys on the Eagles I think are better. So and it's his first year being there. He broke the franchise record he broke Mike Quick's record for receiving yards in a season. He is the first receiver over 1,000 yards since 2014, Jeremy Maclin. First Eagles receiver over 10 touchdowns in a season since 2014, Jeremy Maclin. Yeah, he's fucking amazing. So, yeah. AJ Brown, 17.
My 17th is Devontae Adams.
Okay.
I think he is just barely above the other 2 wide receivers that I have. That's why he is.
So you have AJ and Stephon behind him.
Yes.
Okay.
Devontae, that.
Yeah. So I have Devontae here because if I have Stephon here, Devontae has to be right next to him. If Stephon plays one more game, I have him above Devontae. If he plays at an average level, what he has been throughout the year. But Devontae Adams had 14 touchdowns.
Led the league led the league.
Yeah.
That's
the biggest thing for me is the 14 touchdowns with also having 1,500 yards.
Yeah, he was 3rd in yards.
In the worst quarterback situation.
Yeah, terrible situation.
He
didn't have his starting quarterback.
That's why I'm not going to talk about him for a while, but he's high on my list because of what he went through this year. And the shit that he was getting at the beginning of the year with how he started slow and everyone was like, "Oh, well, Aaron made your ass." No, shut the fuck up. This dude is very clearly a top 3 receiver in the league.
He was sleeper having a good season even at the beginning.
Yeah.
People were
it was just because they were bad, Derek Carr's bad, and then he would have games where he would drop passes, and then it's like, it's a Raiders curse. No,
Devontae Adams is still that guy, still at the very worst, a top 5 receiver in the league every year, and he showed that. Touchdown wise, there's just not a receiver better than Devontae when it comes to scoring
this year.
Yeah, no.
Well, he's 17 a couple years years ago.
Yeah,
last year I think he led in
one of the best
touchdowns.
Red zone players in general.
Yeah.
Like, target him in the red zone, you're probably going to score.
Yeah. If you want a receiver to score a touchdown, there's no one better than Devontae
See,
Adams.
I'm going to keep saying this every time we talk about a fucking receiver. But dude, give this motherfucker somebody who's good.
Imagine him going to, like, the Chiefs or something.
Give this motherfucker somebody who's good and look at the numbers he's going to put up. All right, but...
Baltimore, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Please.
Fucking, oh my God. 17, Surtain.
Patrick
AP
Surtain.
All-Pro.
Love that.
AP All-Pro corner. He is my second lowest corner. Mm-hmm. I've got 2 over him.
He's the 3rd lowest.
3rd lowest. Yeah. Second to last.
Second to last.
AP All-Pro, I mean, it's were they not saying this shit about him when he came out? Like when they came out, it was like, oh, it's a fucking he's consummate.
He was like a fringe All-Pro last year.
Yeah, like he's gonna do this shit, and he was on a very fucking terrible team. Like if I was rating by the team that these people were on, he's fucking number one.
Yeah,
because that fucking team was being held back by a number of
adversity you face and how well you play.
Yes, on top of not having the players that people thought. Justin Simmons missed time. Bradley Chubb was not what he usually is. Like the players that he needed around him to succeed didn't or weren't there.
Yeah. And
he was still AP All-Pro in his second year. I mean, we can't deny it.
Yeah.
The kid's a fucking top 5 corner in the league.
Have him higher than
for
that.
sure.
And then next, I disagree with this because I think 2 safeties very well could have made this top 25 list.
Yeah,
but
Minka. Yeah.
I mean, it's it's another thing. A bad defense because TJ was gone. And who was the only mainstay on that defense?
Yeah, I mean, he was there.
Minka.
He was just there. So.
You don't.
He had 6 interceptions.
He was tied.
Let me actually see his stats. He had 11 pass deflections as well. 24th.
I'm not saying the Dolphins needed any more help, but imagine the Dolphins with Minka now.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking nasty.
It'd be disgusting.
Well, they just let him go. I mean, they got good compensation for him.
You can't. It's the same thing with Roquan Smith. You weren't going to be able to pay it.
Safety's a tough position to evaluate, like for the value, I guess. Because look at Jamal Adams. He got traded to the Seahawks, and he just
Jamal Adams is always a glorified fucking.
Well, I mean, he literally couldn't play this year because he got hurt. He tore his ACL, I think.
I was never really big on him. He always just seemed like
He's
safety
a physical
playing
player.
Linebacker. He looked like a linebacker.
I feel like if
he
didn't get hurt, he would have made the Seahawks defense so much better.
I think he would have too. I would have loved to have seen, especially with him and Woolen. Like you have somebody in your secondary.
Quandre Diggs is.
You have people in your secondary that are that good. It makes it a lot easier to just sit back there and read what's going on because you know your receivers are it's Tariq and Diggs. Quandre Diggs has been good since he's been in the league, and it's like
he came from the Lions.
He
was there with
has
Slay, so he's with
crazy quiet
talent.
years, but he's really good. But yeah, Minka.
So my 16, right outside the top 15, very controversial. It's CMC. I have Christian McCaffrey here. It's pretty low. I get it. To touch on a fact that we said earlier, receptions. He had 107 and 116 in 2018, 2019. So he has had 100 receptions.
Okay.
In 2 years.
Yeah, I 1,000 at running back. I'd see it hard to not have 100.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He's only had it in 2019. He had the 116 receptions, 1,005 yards.
That's just stupid for a running back.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I mean, it makes sense if Cam's the one throwing it because he's throwing it. I mean, he's not got a great.
Well, what year was that?
That was
2019.
2019
wasn't Cam.
Yeah.
Who was it?
I mean, this year.
Was it Darnold?
I don't know. No.
You keep talking. I'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
This year, 244 attempts, but 1,139 yards, 8 touchdowns on the ground, 85 receptions for 741 yards, and 5 touchdowns receiving.
Yeah, he was snubbed.
I mean,
pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, he's.
You know who that was? It was Kyle Allen.
Oh yeah,
it was Kyle Allen.
I remember that guy.
Cam Newton only played 2 games that year.
Damn.
Yeah, the way the CMC was able to adjust and just immediately jump into a new team again, and just jump right in and make such an impact on an already extremely weapon, like an offense that already has so many weapons. It just shows how fucking good he is.
I think I'm going to go back to what I've been saying about that offense is they've been plugging whoever they want back there and rushing for 100 yards. These teams, no one's as good, but no one opens up the offense like Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. If this was any other situation,
well, you got him and Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell was a starter there and was pretty fucking good. They had a deep running back room.
If you look at running backs, it's like if we're talking about the easiest to transition, it's running back, especially from college to NFL.
But
it's the easiest position. It's weird because you put the coaches in a position where we have to utilize this. Like last night was when they played. They fucking ran a play with Debo in the backfield, Kittle at fullback, and Christian McCaffrey at wide receiver. Yeah. What do you do?
You don't do anything.
It's amazing. He's way high on my list.
And I honestly think he would have been higher if he would have gotten traded sooner.
Earlier, yeah. Because you do have that time at the fucking Panthers.
And something that you said about Devontae is you didn't you put into
How bad the team is?
I didn't.
Yeah.
So, like, CMC being on the Panthers and the Panthers just being a fucking dumpster fire changes nothing.
Yeah.
He wasn't able, even if it wasn't his fault, he wasn't able to produce there.
Yeah.
He's still in the top 25.
You kind of feel that way the same way I feel about Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
It's like when he was at the Panthers, winning should have been getting him the ball.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. And
Winning should be getting him the ball.
Yeah. So that's why he is as low as he is, but
Yeah.
he's the hardest one. He was someone I wanted to bump up, but I really do like my
It's
15
unfortunate.
above.
I don't even have him on my list. It makes
That's
me so fucking
insane.
mad.
That one's insane to me.
Yeah.
But keep going. Who's your 16?
But there's so many running backs I think that were better than him.
Who's your 16?
So-
and then we're gonna start our top 15.
Sheesh, you fucking
I like him.
get the fuck out of here.
Number 16. It sucks to say because we got to deal with this guy twice a year. Micah Parsons.
That's so low.
Micah Parsons is number 16.
Holy cow.
So, based solely off the numbers, he had 13 and a half sacks. He trailed off super hard. Like
His end of his season was. Ugh.
But I feel like they were also like most teams were focused on him as like the threat whenever it came to pass
Well, they were
rush.
leading in sacks for a while.
Yeah, and
y'all
then
had
Philly
to
kinda
take
just
over.
overtook it. Because they have like Odigizua.
Odigizua,
got-
Dexter Lawrence had 3, or not Dexter Lawrence. Demarcus Lawrence had
yeah.
3 in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were getting into.
They've got a pretty good defensive
Donovan
line.
Wilson, their
Yeah.
safety was coming down and getting sacks.
Yeah.
Like,
But with Micah Parsons, he had 13 and a half sacks, which was 7th. 13 tackles for loss, which was 17th in the NFL. 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. He is just like, he is a mistake for an offense waiting to happen. Like, he creates turnovers. Even, like, errant passes, like, he causes them all the fucking time. So, like, Trayvon Diggs, I mean, any interceptions he gets this season, like, thank you, Micah Parsons. Like,
I think he's the best player on that defense, but
he's the best player on the team.
I'm afraid. I just want people to quit putting, let the kid grow, because like we're seeing.
I don't
we
want to
saw
make comparisons anymore.
Yeah,
I just want to see.
I don't
him
want
play.
comparisons because I want to watch him grow. We saw the growth from the first year to the second year. Like we're seeing it. Like we need to get over this. And it's the same thing that I was talking about with the Purdy situation with Stinson Bennett. Like, oh, all these people come out and they're like, oh, it's the next Brady. Like, no, like quit putting praise on these people that they don't deserve. Like they don't like. I'm not saying that Micah Parsons isn't good, but he doesn't deserve Lawrence.
Well,
Taylor
I just know that
comparisons.
Lawrence Taylor was the reason the Giants were dominant in the '80s. Like they won Super Bowls because of
But their whole but in a year where the Cowboys defense as a whole was great, it wasn't just Parsons. He created a lot of opportunities, especially for DeMarcus Lawrence to get those sacks. But I don't want to see. I want to see him grow because I'm afraid of the stunting of. Oh, I got to live up to these expectations. I have to be.
Well, I don't think he goes about it that way. I think he just grinds. He does talk a lot, though. It makes me so mad.
Yeah, I was going to say, motherfucker talks a lot.
I like Micah.
All right, top 15.
Top 15.
Getting into the top 15, I got to give some Eagles love. Got Lane Johnson. 0 sacks allowed in, I don't even know how many
40
sacks.
years.
His entire career at this point. He's the best tackle in football. One of the best tackles in football. He had three penalties total all year, and he only played 15 games because he had the abdomen injury, which he's coming back for the playoffs with that. He's fighting through a lot, man. And apparently it's not even an abdomen because he had an interview with Pat McAfee today, or not today, but Friday. It's like a groin issue, so he should be good.
Pat
but yeah,
McAfee needs a quiz interviewing Aaron and fucking just stick with the Eagles. Every time he interviews like Aaron, I'm just like, dude, you're getting yourself in trouble.
Yeah. Lane Johnson's my number 15. I got a couple more Eagles to go, but
okay,
your turn, bud.
My 15, Chris Jones.
Hell yeah.
30 solos, 15 and a half sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Like we already talked about. Yeah, as a D lineman, that's what's so
17
crazy.
tackles for loss, like that's a big deal when you're talking about running defense.
Yeah,
if you're getting stops behind the line of scrimmage, that's
the thing that then we're talking about a team that like does have a spotty defense. Yeah, this guy has not been.
The thing
he is leading this defense and really been their guy.
The thing that I want to emphasize on, because I don't want people to think we're snubbing people. Anybody from here on out is a top 10 player. That's how I feel. Looking at my list, I can make an.
I think
you can make an argument for Chris Jones.
There's like clear guys above one another, but
I think it's like you can make an argument for Chris Jones being a top 10 player. That's what I'm saying. These people have arguments to be top 10 players. Yeah. Are they? Maybe not. Probably not. Just because I think the top 8 is really like solidified. Like I think the top 8 you can't get wrong.
Apparently not for him. One of my top 8 are not. It was like 24th on his list, but
was it? Wait,
Josh Allen.
Oh yeah.
Well, Josh Allen not being in the top 15 was pretty mind blowing to me. But
his turnovers, like that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a quarterback though.
Well, like you have to think of the games that he put his team in, shitty situations. Like
they ask a lot of him though. But I'll talk about him whenever I get him. But
you're good.
Last thoughts on like Chris Jones. PFF had him as Defensive Player of the Year. I obviously do not agree with that.
Yeah,
I have defensive players higher than him.
There's a clear defensive player.
I do too.
But
I've got plenty of defensive
players. But just
players
to put some credit there, like PFF thought that play for play, he was the best player on the field every
snap. Yeah.
Every snap. Yeah. So, just some credit towards him.
Next two.
You're 15.
Derrick Henry.
God damn.
Comeback player of the year if Geno isn't alive.
If Geno isn't alive.
1,500 yards and 1,538 yards and 13 touchdowns.
Second.
I mean, he
in
is
rushing yards.
This is he
led
the year.
in attempts. That's crazy.
This is the year that I had to hear people say he's going to slow down.
He should
people
have.
On Twitter.
He should have. Let's
people
put that
on
in credit.
Twitter talking
Remember
shit,
when we
saying
said
he should have slowed down.
I'm pretty sure Brandon and I were on this podcast talking about we see the decline.
Dumb.
I mean, clearly
all right, let's put in some consideration. If you literally look at running backs that are his age is the exact age that every running back has ever
digressed. But this is a different beast. We can't hold these precedents to the same thing.
If you look at stats everywhere, they all point at this was going to be Derrick Henry's worst year.
Yeah, no,
he's just Derrick Henry.
You can't. I'm not. He's one of those players I'm not going to put into a mold like he should start.
Is he your second running back?
No.
He's the second on your list.
Second best.
Second best on your list.
No, I've got 3 running backs over him.
No,
they're about to come out, but I've got 3 running backs.
That's
over
wild.
him.
That is wild.
Damn. Okay.
I'm about to knock out.
All right.
A bunch of my questions.
Do your 14.
Darius Slay.
Ooh.
Best corner in the league this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not because
if we're talking about longevity, I saw him go up against the Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. If we're talking about longevity, obviously Jalen. But Darius Slay is been a top 5 corner in this league for a long time.
Yeah.
Even back at the Lions, he's always been great. And this year, the way the defense came together, it came together around him. In my opinion, him and the change at safety. I think those were the 2 biggest things on.
Yeah, safety was it was definitely an issue.
I'm not discrediting Hassan Reddick because Hassan Reddick was great. But in my opinion, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Darius
good
Slay
players benefit from dominant players. If you can't fucking pass the ball because the target, your first read is locked up, it's going to take you a while to get the ball down out of your hand. And guess what? Hassan Reddick is one of the best passers.
Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson were the best. Darius Slay was the second best signing because I still think A.J. was the best for you guys.
Yeah.
But
underrated, by the way. Darius Slay was great, but James Bradbury needs a lot
James
of credit.
Bradbury. Yeah. Well, he was Pro Football Focus's 4th corner.
Yeah. He was really
Tariq Woolen and Sauce were the only ones ahead of him along with
Pro Football
Slay.
Focus, I'm pretty sure, was Surtain, Gardner, Woolen, and Bradbury.
Yeah.
Were the 4.
Well, Gardner's on the corner.
Huh? No.
Sauce.
Sauce.
Gardner-Johnson. That's my bad.
Yeah. Darius Slay.
So he was your 14?
Yeah.
Okay.
My 14, Derrick Henry.
I'm about to get rid of my
We're going to have
running
a lot of
backs
the same. We're going to be close on these.
He is my second best running back, so I'm very curious on who all you have above him.
Mine too.
I understand.
Going off of this year.
Yeah. Going off of this year, of course. Probably already said 1,538 yards this year, 13 touchdowns. He is second in both of those categories.
Yep. First in attempts.
With 349.
29th in yards per carry, but it's Derrick Henry. Dude, he could break a fucking 99-yard touchdown anytime.
He's a threat.
That's the thing. Is if he's averaging 4 yards a carry, give him the ball every single down. He'll always get the first down. He'll always you just win games.
In theory, that's how it would work. But.
Yeah, I get that's not, but obviously it is because they handed it to him 350 times.
In a year that they lost their best receiver, Treylon Burks did not step up like he should have, and Ryan Tannehill regressed horribly.
Yeah, that's what
Woods
happens when you
wasn't
lose your
really
best
great
receiver.
either.
That's just how those things work.
Yeah, but who would have thought that
Yeah.
they would have regressed? Like,
Understand.
Ryan Tannehill would have regressed that bad.
Yeah, no, he should have been better.
Motherfucker was dookie.
Yeah, that's why I think A.J. Brown deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah,
he
and
does.
But as long as he is on that team, he is the best player on that team. I will not talk about how he will regress again. I bet he has a wonderful year next year.
He's going to
Derrick
fucking
Henry is
rush
that-
for 1,000 yards at 40.
He's one
Yes.
of those ones that's like,
Derrick
oh,
Henry's
I
that
kinda
guy.
shut you up.
I understand.
Like, I feel like that way about CD. Like,
All right.
whether or not I hate on CD, he did.
Yeah, he's
He
going
had
to
a
do
good season.
Yeah,
So
he might not be the
I
best.
think
but he's
both
gonna
of
do
you
good.
all have listed this guy already. My 14, Devontae Adams.
No,
You haven't listed him yet?
no.
So Brendan
He's
has.
high.
Okay.
Yes.
So he had 100 receptions, 9th in the NFL, 1,516 yards, 3rd in the NFL. He was first in touchdowns. We were, touched on that a little bit, 14. He was 15.2 yards per catch, which is 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he was the only good player for a while. And then Josh Jacobs kind of just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because remember how
If
we
he
said,
didn't
if the Raiders just run the fucking ball, then they know how to play football all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Devontae
whenever-
Adams, like, he can make any quarterback good, literally. Like, but of course, the Raiders were terrible. So, I think if the Raiders made the playoffs and were a lot better, I'd probably have them higher.
Of course.
I have a teammate of his higher, but my 13, Darius Slay. So
Yeah.
we're close.
Yeah.
3 interceptions. He had 1 for a touchdown, I believe. Locked up Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're not in the playoffs. I don't want to see that again. I dare to say that Justin Jefferson would get embarrassed a second time. Tied for 28th.
I don't know about that. All that, but
Tied for 28th in the
That
league.
might be the game he goes for $180 and they just nobody else does anything.
First team All Pro for the NFLPA. 14 passes deflected. That's tied for 12th in the NFL. I think he's probably the best defense player on the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all agree with that? I mean, he's up
I
there.
would.
It's either him
Yeah.
or Hassan this year. Even CJ, but CJ didn't play the full season. Just love what he's got. Great to see that he's doing it at 30. Nobody ever expected it. Matt Patricia, how are you going to say this dude wasn't elite and you were acting like...
Don't even fucking talk about
saying,
Matt
bro.
Patricia. Shut the fuck up. Nobody
It's his
wants
first
to hear.
year being a captain, by the way. So
Don't
like,
want to fucking hear about Matt Patricia. He's gonna be fucking gone next year, or
Dude.
defensive coordinator like he fucking should be. Fucking fat bitch.
one of the most
plays.
underrated moves Harry Roseman's ever made. Like
Punk ass
this seems
motherfucker,
like
dude.
the Malcolm Jenkins type of thing. You know what I mean?
Fuck him.
Like when we got Malcolm, it was just uphill from there.
Yeah.
But Darius Slay 13.
Yeah. My 13th. I love DBs, and I think that might be why he's so high. But Pat Surtain.
First team All Pro corner. It's hard not to list somebody high.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like if I read off these stats: solo tackles 46, tied for 138th; forced fumbles tied for 1, tied for 73rd; interceptions 2, tied for 55th. They sound terrible, but like
He doesn't get targeted.
Go look at
Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
When he gets
stats.
targeted-
Not comparing the two,
Yeah.
but
But
it's
like
the same situation.
yeah, it's just a weird. Like I think that's why they get snubbed because if you just look at stats, it's kind of
It's
hard.
the reason Sauce is so high.
Unless the interceptions are super high, it doesn't look like they produce as much as they do.
Yeah.
There is a reason, and it's not solely because of him. The Denver defense was amazing, but he is that guy. He shut down people all year. And being as young as he is, it's so impressive to see just like
He's in
how-
his second year.
how
Oh
good
my
he has
God.
gotten
Year 2.
so fast. Young corners run the league at this point.
I would
is how I
rather
feel about
have a Patrick Surtain season than a Trayvon Diggs season every time of the week.
Yeah.
Every day of the week. Because that
It's
means
not as fun.
it's not as fun.
It's not as
You're
fun.
getting a
That's-
lot of picks.
that's how I
but
feel about
That's
that means they're
grimy,
trying.
gritty
Yeah.
work. That's like on dirty
Like
jobs.
with Diggs, they were
You see that
trying
shit on
Diggs.
dirty
He gave
jobs.
up he gave up 1,000 yards
Yes.
that year. They were trying Diggs. They're not trying
Yeah.
Surtain.
No.
And they're
Yeah.
not trying this other corner who's on this list.
Yeah.
But
that boy.
we're not
Yeah,
at
that's-
corners yet. I'm
that's
gonna
how I
knock
feel.
out an
No running
offensive
backs?
and a defensive player.
Oh, okay.
No, because I think I have a running back top 10.
Okay.
Just on impact alone.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs,
Ooh.
Yeah.
one of the best fuckers. Like this dude is like,
You have him at 13?
yeah,
Oh my God, that's crazy.
1,400
good.
yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, just 108 receptions. Just, I mean, it goes to show Patriots what it can do for a young quarterback when you give them a receiver. Josh Allen wasn't Josh Allen until they went and got Stephon Diggs.
I can't wait till the last call, bro.
Jalen Hurts wasn't Jalen Hurts until they went and got fucking
when your quarterback
AJ Brown
is progressing their third year, you give them a great receiver.
Boom.
And
then
they become great.
What does it do?
This is
it seems like, hey, guess who's coming up on their third year? Mac Jones. Let's fucking do it. Go get DeAndre.
And
Justin Fields.
But
y'all have money. That's what scares me about the Bears is y'all have money.
Yeah, but they're the Bears. They're gonna fuck it up.
Well, you're gonna take Jalen Carter.
Y'all are gonna be the ones in the bidding for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
They're gonna take
as much as
y'all and the Bears.
As much as fucking Belichick was doing this to DeAndre all year, no, there's no way he doesn't fuck. Dude, you go back and look at what Belichick.
I saw it.
Belichick didn't talk that way to Brady.
No,
and he's sitting here like, hey. You know you're the best in the league, right? Like, I don't give a fuck that you missed the main game. No. Like, man, I hate playing your ass. Like, he fucking not saying that to... No. That's tampering. That's my view on it, is they've been tampering. He already knows.
Oh, Bill, you're really flattering me.
Oh, Bill, yeah.
Oh, Bill. I don't think Mac Jones makes him better than Justin Fields would, but...
No, I think just the offense would be more fun with Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. I think Mac Jones fits DeAndre Hopkins' mold better.
Yeah, you need a guy that can...
Like, whereas you're not going to be running the ball with Mac.
All right, talk about your 12. Fred Warner at 12?
The best middle linebacker in the league.
Yes, this is 12.
Yeah.
Best middle linebacker in the league. And
so many...
It's off one play. This motherfucker shot across the field like a goddamn rocket and dove from 10 yards away and still made the tackle, dude. Like, it's...
He came out of fucking nowhere, too.
I'm loving the...
Him and Nick got... Was it him and Kittle? It was one of the... I think two of the guys on the 49ers got paid the same year. And, oh my God.
I don't know.
They deserve it, dude.
Hold on, let's look and see what...
I think it may have been Kittle. Because Kittle, he's currently on a deal. So I think it was him and Fred Warner.
Fred Warner got a $21 million contract, I think.
Yeah, no, he's so good.
Yeah, it's him and Kittle. But,
okay.
I mean, it's...
But they got signed in the same year, and you see why. Like,
yeah, it's... Having somebody like...
You could have 10 49ers on this fucking list, dude.
You really could.
Yeah.
I mean, I have...
You could have 10 Eagles. You could have 10 Chiefs. Like,
I'm going to spoil it. I have 2 in the top 10.
Me too.
And I have 1 really high. But Fred Warner, I mean,
really high.
When... In seasons where you have, I'm not going to lean on Bobby Wagner's season as much. I just think Bobby Wagner was better for how bad the team was over. That's my reasoning for Roquan. But in a season where you have Roquan doing what he did, and Fred Warner is still it wasn't a question. Like they when they were making the team, they were like, all right, we need middle linebackers. They stood up, said Fred Warner, and sat the fuck back down. Like it's just how it is.
Yep.
My number 12 is similar to the Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs situation where it was very interchangeable for who was the best. Mine is Sauce Gardner at 12. I think he is the best corner this year. Surtain being very close at 2. But like we said...
Where'd you have Slay?
I didn't.
You didn't have Slay on your list?
Nope. Slay missed my 25.
Nigga smoking dick.
You have 4 offensive linemen.
Well, that's just like the list. Of
hey,
I have
4 offensive linemen on here.
I don't. You think I've got fucking
3
more or 2 more offensive linemen, or 3 more offensive linemen in the next fucking 12 picks? No,
maybe. But yeah, I only have 1 offensive lineman. That is why fun players make it. But no, like I said, I value DBs a lot, so that is why Sauce Gardner is as high as he is.
And receiver guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine.
Sauce at 12.
All right, got Miles,
the best rookie by far.
Myles Garrett, number 12 for me. 16 sacks, tied for second with Hassan Reddick. Had 18 tackles for loss, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's in that discussion for Defensive Player of the Year.
In a year where the Browns should not have succeeded just because of all the shit over their head.
Well, they didn't
everything
have a quarterback
that was going
for
on.
11 weeks.
That's what I was saying. The quarterback situation, everything that was going on, and you still are first team All Pro player. Yeah. I don't think he was. No, he was.
Yeah, he was.
He was the other edge. Yeah. So when you're first team All Pro player and carrying that defense, who lost a lot. I mean, where did fucking Denzel Ward go? Grant Delpit hasn't panned out. This defense was supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney. What the fuck happened between them two?
He's been in and out
Like, it's-
quite a bit.
Yeah. And to be fair, Myles Garrett legitimately almost died this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got in a car
Yeah,
accident.
he got in a car
and he
accident.
played the next week.
I don't
Yeah.
know how he fit in that car.
He only missed
That's
one
my
game.
thing.
You
It's
don't-
like, okay.
there's no way you fit. What was it, a Porsche?
Yeah.
It looked like a Boxster, but I don't think it was. It was probably a 911. It was probably a Porsche 911.
Yeah, it was definitely a Porsche because I think that was.
It was tiny. I don't understand how that big
He's
of a
like
man fit in that
6'4".
car.
I mean, he's your height, but he's fucking 290 pounds.
272.
272. Okay,
I'm looking at it right now.
he's fucking massive. But yeah, he had what was it? 18 tackles for loss, which is tied for fourth. 2 forced fumbles, no recovery.
Now, is that separate from sacks? Because I know they record sacks and tackles for a loss as the same stat. So is that
no?
6?
Because tackles for loss, that's whenever it's a rushing play and it's stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Whereas like a sack is a passing
I've always
play.
thought that tackles for loss were like sacks, and
It's strictly a rushing play.
because that's what I was gonna say. I was thinking that means he had 2 tackles for loss outside of his sacks. Like it's
Yeah. My thing is that he's easily the best player on that team. And it's in a season where like they could have made the playoffs because like they had 2 dominant players on either side of the ball, but they just couldn't get over the games. Like there was a couple games they just dropped they shouldn't have.
I feel bad because I feel like he's gonna be always like right there next to the defensive player of the year, but not getting it because we're in an era where these fucking edge rushers
Wins
are
matter
just
too.
ridiculous, and wins
matter for sure.
Like Mike is not regressing. TJ Watt's not regressing.
Nope.
Nick Bosa's not regressing. Like it's
Sauce isn't.
like
Yup.
he's gonna have to fight with these players year in and year out, and
All right.
I think the Browns are gonna hold him back.
Yep.
You're
Got
number 11.
Derrick Henry at 11 though. I have running backs valued way higher than you guys.
Yeah.
I think. They matter whenever it's the entire offense. We've already talked about his stats: second in rushing, first in attempts, second in touchdowns. Derrick Henry is the best Titan, and to me, it's like
He's gonna go down as the greatest Titan.
the Titans are going to be in a rebuild soon, just because they have no assets. I think, and
which means they're gonna run the ball 400.
their
times a year.
their cap situation's
I can't
terrible.
wait to see it.
I don't necessarily think that Vrabel likes the scenario that's there. He's going to be entering a rebuild without a GM currently. So, what does that look like? The Titans are kind of fucked, but they do have this guy.
But
so
they
at
do
least
have the. They
at
do
least
have
have
that
something
guy.
to look forward to. Where like we have a rushing champion, like multiple time rushing champion, and he could hit 2,000 yards in any given season.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just give him the ball.
But yeah, Derrick Henry, number 11.
Right outside the top 10.
Yep.
Just barely missed it. I got Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Third best defensive player in my list. There's only 2 defensive players that made my top 10.
Have you said Sauce yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sauce was Sauce. No, Sauce being in the top 10 would be
I was
kinda
ready
cool.
to say, like, if you got Sauce in
You
your
said
top
you had
10,
two-
I think there's some
You have
confidence
2
in Sauce.
defensive players above him, and
I
that's
have
it?
2 defensive players in the top 10.
Oh, man, I have 1.
Ooh, 2 defensive players in the top. Ooh, I've got. No, well, I haven't even.
Yeah, because you're going to be coming up on your 11, but we already talked about it. And I actually agree with you completely. Myles Garrett will always be top 5 defensive players.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he'll ever hit 1.
If he'll ever get the award.
Yeah.
Because it's like.
But he's going to go down as one of the best
I mean,
defensive
even
players
when
of his generation, just because he is going to be
Drafted in
top
2017.
even when Aaron Donald was winning Defensive Player of the Year, it's like,
was
who was
right there.
second? It was fucking Myles Garrett.
He's always
like
gonna be
he's
right
always
there.
he's always about to fuck. He's never hitting.
There's a couple years where like it was between him and like I'm trying to think.
Well, it's
like
been
Stephon
TJ
Gilmore
Watt.
won it a year. There
It
was
was
Khalil Mack was
yeah,
in that
but number
running.
2 that year was Donald. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, like
You had Stephon Diggs. There's only been 3 Defensive Player of the Years in
well,
like,
you
the
had
past
Stephon
5
Gilmore.
players
You had
in the
like
last 5 years. It's been Aaron Donald, T.J. Watt, and Stephon Gilmore. We haven't had any
No,
other
there was one
defensive
more. Hold
player of
on,
the
I'm
years,
trying to
pretty
think.
Sure.
But we
But
can
yeah.
move on.
Yeah, you're good.
You're number 11, and then you're 10.
I want to see who that is first. I'll go on. Number 11, Sauce.
Oh,
Damn.
Best corner in the league.
yeah.
It,
I like to hear
I
it.
thought you said Darius Slay was.
He was.
he was until Sauce popped up on this list. It's just no. I do probably. I'm just gonna go off of. This is a hard question.
It's more impressive
it's
because he's a rookie.
Yeah, and that's why It's because Tariq Woolen
He did not get targeted, and when he did, the ball was not making it there.
And it's also a sense of like, who would I rather take going forward? Like, I like Slay, but if I had to, it'd be Sauce.
Yeah.
It's just
He's got recovery speed. I mean, his ball skills are amazing.
He's 6'3". He's 200 pounds. He's a big, rangy corner who can run
hell.
with the receivers, who is smart. The biggest thing that's always separated Sauce with me was his football IQ, was the way that he's able to read it. And even in that Alabama game, like, he didn't play great because they got blown the fuck out, but he was still in every play. He was still right there. Yeah. Like, he was still showing, like, hey,
you can fit him in any scheme. He can play man. He can play zone. He can play multiple positions. He could be the slot.
He's a man.
He's another Revis for them. They're gonna lock you up.
Yep. It's what they're known for.
Yep.
Great defensive backs. I mean, they had like Antonio Cromartie,
Revis.
They had
Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner, who's arguably going to be one of the best ever.
Starting my top 10, Micah Parsons.
Hell yeah,
he is that dude.
He's really good.
And I've been wanting to go against them just because they're so early. It was him and Matt Judon. Yeah. And I can't go with Micah because Matt's my guy.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I don't like is the end of his year was kind of slow, and he, outside of sacks, he lacks great stats in other areas. That was always my point for defensive player of the year, because him and Matt were always close, but Matt had better stats outside of it, outside of just sacks.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, he tied his sack total. He was tied at a sack total with tackles for loss before this past game. He had a half sack, so like, yeah, he's getting behind the line of scrimmage and fucking everything up because that's just how good he is.
Yeah, it's just
he makes everything flow with that team too. Like if they're gonna double him, that's where you see like DeMarcus Lawrence. He's making it.
Yeah,
making up.
So yeah, I was right.
What's up?
It's been Aaron Donald, Stephon Gilmore, and T.J. Watt.
What about Khalil Mack? When did he win it? Because he won it, I'd say, like, back around when he was drafted, like, maybe his second year.
That was still fucking...
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
He was drafted in 2014 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'll pick up where you left off. My number 10, Micah Parsons. Yeah, I was going to say pretty much the same thing. If he would have had as good of the end of the year as he did at the beginning, he would be much higher.
Yeah,
He may have
won the award.
Yeah, but he didn't. He did fall off a little bit, but at the end of the day, this is a full year award, and it's hard to say that he's any worse than a top 10 player.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
All right, got Josh Jacobs at 10. Led the league in rushing, first time ever. I mean, dude had one of the greatest games as a running back we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. He had 340 attempts, so he was second in attempts. He was top 10 in yards per carry. He was 16th. My bad. He had 12 touchdowns, which was tied for fifth. He was the reason the Raiders were consistent in the second half of the year, not running the ball, but as an offense in general. I think he definitely covered up a lot of blemishes with offensive line because it's very piss poor. I don't know anybody on their offensive line at this point. Do you?
No.
Does anybody at this table? I don't think so. But
I don't know anybody.
All things considered, with the personnel at their offensive line, like this dude still rushed for the highest total in the NFL.
They didn't pick up his option.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna go get a bag. He'll probably make $20 million a year as a running back. Highest paid running back in NFL history. Alabama, great.
Yeah.
So.
That's your 10.
Yep.
Number 9.
Is this my second or third quarter? It's my third quarterback. Ooh. Got Joe Burrow.
I haven't had any quarterbacks yet.
Cool Joe.
That's not true. We had Gino. Did you not put Gino in yours?
Okay. I had Gino and Josh.
You haven't put him in.
Gino and Josh were my first two quarterbacks. Got Joe Burrow, 4,475 yards.
I got good reasons.
Top 5 in yards. Why do I keep losing it? 35 touchdowns, which is tied for second with Josh Allen. He had 12 interceptions, which is tied for 26th, and he was 10th in QBR at 58.5. But the thing is that he was missing his number one target for a while. Mm-hmm. Still won those games, though.
Yeah.
There was a lot of controversy around the first couple of weeks where, like, it didn't look very good. Had to get going, had to get rolling for a little bit there. I don't think Zach Taylor's a great coach, personally. But, like, Joe Burrow's still able to make up for those parts, those aspects of
arguable.
like the play calling and shit. So I love Joe Burrow. He may end up winning the Super Bowl this year, and if he does, then he deserves it. He's really fucking good.
Yeah. My number 9, I thought I put him higher than, like, he was someone that I actually wanted to put lower on the list, but I just felt like this was the best spot for him. And apparently, I put him the lowest out of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I have Travis Kelce here.
Okay.
110 receptions, 3rd in the league, 1,338 yards, 8th in the league, 12 touchdowns, 2nd in the league. When it comes to tight ends, we were all trying to talk before we started shooting. We were all trying to figure out who was the second best because it's kind of hard to even think of who the
Most
second
of
best
the top
is.
guys were hurt.
Well, even more so, he is just so much better.
Yeah.
He's
It's
a receiver.
Not even
He
close.
plays wide receiver.
Like, it's not even close at all.
It never is.
And well, some years you're like, maybe.
Well, wasn't
Maybe
Mark
someone
Andrews
can
number
be
1 in
close.
yards last year? I think
I think so, something like that.
for tight ends, not
Yeah.
for fucking receiving. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's great.
But, like, it's just unbelievable.
How many records
much
did he
better.
break this year? Like over and over and over again. He was fastest to 10K. He was the most receptions for a tight end ever. Like,
Yeah.
Kansas City fucking franchise records. Like, he is the best ever to do it.
He is the best tight end in the league by
I think it's not even close.
by miles. And if he continues to do this, he might just be the best tight end.
I think
Period.
he could probably go for the total receiving record.
Yeah.
Like he could match Jerry Rice, I think, because he's consistent and he hasn't been hurt. You know what I mean? And he's got one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
So
I already said Miles Garrett. Stupid. Next for me is Josh Jacobs.
okay,
Yeah.
he's your 9.
In a year that they didn't even believe in him, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I was just
In
making
a
sure.
year that they didn't even believe in him, he was the best running back in the league.
Bet on yourself here.
Yeah. Next, Gino.
Bet on yourself year. I
Holy
know.
shit,
That's
Dude,
crazy. I love it.
Dude, what?
In
You
a
have him
year,
in a top.
in a year
That's
where
awesome.
he was the option because he was there.
No expectations.
No expectations.
None at all.
No belief in this team.
None.
Nobody believed in this
Not
team.
even us.
Nobody in the world
One
believed in this team.
70-year-old dementia having fuck.
You were
Changed.
calling for Pete Carroll's job.
changed the complete outlook and carried this team to the playoffs. A team that Russell Wilson didn't get to the playoffs.
They were winning the first half of their playoff game.
17-16.
the best.
They
team-
were winning.
And they kind of snowballed, but
We'll talk about
we'll
the
talk
second,
about it.
Yeah,
second half later.
and that's a heart pick. That's a heart pick.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for it. If I could have put him
You
higher
had
on
him
my
at
list,
fucking, what was it, 8?
9. Or, yeah, 8. That's your 8.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I can't think. I could think. I don't
I like how earlier you were like, top 8's a lock. Yours was what, 25th or
24th, I think.
24th?
No, it was 25th.
And mine was 21st.
He was the last one.
And you're like, top 8 lock. But I love it. I'm all for it.
Geno
My number,
Smith getting the love. It's
Yes.
awesome.
one of my favorite players in the league, honestly. Like, got to be top 5 right now. Tyreek Hill is my number 8.
Okay.
119 receptions. Second in the league, 1,700 yards. Second in the league, 7 touchdowns, 15 in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He would have easily, and I truly do believe this, he easily would have been 1 if he had his starting quarterback and maybe even his second string quarterback. But they're on their third string quarterback,
Yep.
and he is still playing so well.
We're gonna talk about this later.
But
too.
yeah, it's unfortunate
Yeah.
that his season ended up being as bad as it was as the 8th best player for me.
I mean, they started out 6-0 and then lost another like 4
Yeah.
or so because 2 of us out.
Yeah, it's
It is what it is.
it's sad to see, but I mean,
is sad.
the guy is just unbelievable. He's not just fast.
So Tyreek Hill is your 8.
Yes.
Man, I love him. All right, we're getting into it. Number 8, the greatest center in NFL history, Jason Kelce.
Maybe.
I mean, no, I'm not gonna go there. There's only like 5 guys in the NFL ever to hit 5 All-Pro seasons at center, and Jason Kelce's one of them. He allowed 0 sacks. He had 6 total penalties, mostly procedural stuff like false start, like dumb shit, pretty much. Started every game, at 34 years old. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. He is still the best center at 34 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's pretty unbelievable.
It's so unbelievable. He's one of my favorite players ever, and he's a fucking center. Like, I get emotional thinking about how great he is. Mm-hmm. He's so good. But he didn't have as much impact as this guy. The system. Jalen Hurts is number 7 on my list. He had 3,700.
But we're good.
Oh, okay. 3,701 yards, 10th in the NFL after missing 2 games. 22 touchdowns, tied for 14th. He had 6 picks, which is tied for 4th. He was 4th in QBR at 66.7. As a quarterback, he had 760 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, which is tied for 2nd in the NFL, and he lost 5 fumbles, which is tied for 5th. He played 15 games. He would have broke 4,000 yards. He probably would have hit 30 touchdowns if he was on one. I don't know if that necessarily would have been the case, but growth from year 2 to 3, second year starting. I'm pressed to say he probably would have won the MVP if he played both those games. He would have been competing with Mahomes for that.
He was my pick.
I never expected this at the start of the season. Talk about Geno Smith exceeding expectations. Do you guys think that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback?
I think he exceeded expectations, but he had a better team. Geno
should
not have done
this. I agree with that. Like, the Eagles are far better as a team than Geno. But
fucked up. I need to switch, man. I'm sorry.
What's up?
Move everybody from 10 down 1. Geno's 10. Burrow is 8. I can't keep Burrow out of the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Where did you have him? Or did you not have him on the list?
I had him on there. That's what I was. That was the one thing I was sitting here looking, like, going through, because I had mine listed out.
Yeah.
And
guys, I don't know if this is going to continue to happen, but Jalen Hurts is a top 10 player in the NFL, and he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's probably the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL.
We shall see.
I fucking love him. I'm so happy to have this guy as my quarterback. Like, everything he says, everything that comes out of his mouth, it inspires confidence. Like, you just know he's going to be there.
Yeah.
That's just what makes me want to watch football every week. It's this guy. Mm-hmm. Love him. Best deep ball throw in the NFL. Best passer rating past 20 yards in the NFL.
Yeah.
It seems like every touchdown AJ Brown had was a deep ball.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all watched the Steelers game.
Mm-mm.
It's unfair. It's unfucking fair.
Not in its entirety.
It's unfair. It is unfair watching those two play. But that's my number 7.
My number 7. Big bet on yourself year is Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Oh my God.
My number 1. Yeah, number 1 running back. Felt like he should have been top 5 just because he is the best running back this year.
I mean, he's as close as you can get.
7. I mean, he could have been one more.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, 2nd in attempts, 1st in yards, and 5th in touchdowns. But it really was that one game that really separated it all.
That may be the best performance of any player in the NFL all year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if anybody other than like Mahomes in Week 1 against the Cardinals, that was 5 touchdowns over 400 yards. Like,
yeah. And going into the season, the Raiders thought we got our quarterback situation settled. We have our wide receiver situation settled. Only thing is a running back. Now it is the complete opposite. Seems like the running back is the only thing they have settled.
I don't think Devontae's sticking around at this point.
Yeah, the receivers look like they're about to be all shipped off, and their quarterback's going to be shipped
Renfro
off
had
as well.
a horrible year based on what he got paid.
Yeah, so he completely turned it around for this team.
Yeah, I love that though.
Yeah,
it's awesome. What you got, bud?
Y'all are gonna laugh at me at the end of this list because I'm gonna fuck y'all up. But my 7 is Kelsey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best tight end in the league. I mean, the team is completely different without him. Like, that's the piece that I'm willing to say they're completely different without. Like, they were able to lose Tyreek and still be the same team. Like, at the end of the day, because of Kelsey. Mm-hmm. He's just too good. Now, speaking of Tyreek, he's number 6. Fucking transformational. Or no, he's not. He's 5. I'm sorry. 6 is Adams. Devontae Adams.
Okay.
In a year where they were terrible, he was still very clearly, arguably, like, I honestly wanted to put him over Hill just because Hill has the yards.
He did get the nod for the All Pro.
Yeah.
For the AP All Pro.
Over Hill.
Over Hill.
See,
no, it was for the NFLPA.
The only reason I have Hill higher than Adams is because I regard what Hill did with his quarterback over what Adams did with his quarterback, just because of my past thoughts on Tua.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't have those same questions with.
But
Derek
he also
Carr.
was out, so like.
But
I don't know.
Speaking of that, Adams, 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns, led the NFL in touchdowns. He's still that player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 6. That was my 7-6.
My number 6 is Defensive Player of the Year.
Nick Bosa.
Damn,
that's low. I mean,
it'd be like that. 18 and a half sacks, leads the league in sacks. We talked about this. How many games did he miss? 2?
Yeah, he missed
2 games.
Led the league in sacks.
Led the league in sacks.
He should have broke 20, but
he probably would have.
But I think he was hurt at the beginning of the year. He had to come back, which that's
it
insane
says he played
too.
16 games.
Oh, really?
So he only missed 1.
Well, it probably includes the playoff game. They just played.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So yeah, he did miss 2
and
games.
playoff stats aren't accounted for the season.
Yeah. It seemed like it was either going to be Judon or Micah Parsons. And then Judon started to fall. Micah Parsons started to fall a little bit.
Yeah.
And just out of nowhere, Nick Bosa just took the award from all of them.
He is that guy, though.
Well, Nick Bosa had all of the stats. He had everything. That was always what his separating factor was. Even when him and Judon were close, it was always, everything else is good. Tackles for loss, forced fumble, everything.
Yeah. But it's you now.
Me?
You.
Me?
What is it, 6 and 5?
Yes.
It's me?
Yes, it's you.
Oh, okay. So my number 6 is Hill.
Yeah.
Just because of what he did with his quarterback. It changed. I didn't believe in his quarterback.
Yeah.
Hill made me believe in his quarterback.
Yeah.
He was in a year that we people were also wondering if he was going to drop off because of quarterback play.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He's still Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Jalen Hurts. He's
so good, man.
In it.
He just nobody expects.
He just completes the offense. He makes the offense doesn't run the same when he's not there. Gardner Minshew showed that. You can't he's just like Lamar. He's just like Justin Fields, into where these offenses are built around their quarterback being able to extend the play, run the ball. And when you're running for fucking 230 yards a game, there's just
and nobody throws the ball better than him down the field. Right now, right now.
Agree with that.
Well, I'm just saying he was
down the field.
He was the best player throwing the ball down the field in the NFL. Mm-hmm. It's just true because you have AJ Brown who can go up and get it, Devontae Smith who can go up and get it.
5.
Top 5.
Who kicks off your top 5?
Oh shit, my top 5. That was my top 5.
Oh, that was your 5th?
Jalen was 5.
My bad.
He had Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. All right.
I've got 2 number 1s. I'm just gonna tell you all that now.
My 5th is a quarterback as well, but it's a different quarterback. Mine is Josh Allen.
Josh Allen at 5.
Josh Allen is 5th.
Okay.
Yes, I understand he had 14 interceptions. Pretty bad.
Yep.
But this team asks everything of this guy. When they need to run the ball.
If he has a bad game, they don't win.
Yeah.
That's how it usually goes.
The Bills have been the Super Bowl favorite going into the season.
Yep.
They're still the Super Bowl favorite for a lot of people this far into the season.
They look dominant.
And whenever it comes to offense, it all goes through Josh Allen. When they need to run the ball, they don't hand it off. They have Josh Allen run it. When they need to make a big play, they put the ball in Josh Allen's hands. When they need to just get 1 yard, Josh Allen's their guy. It does not matter. You're going to have turnovers whenever you are
It's kind of like
a
high usage rate in the NBA.
Yeah.
James Harden, he was one of the best offensive players in the NBA history, and you saw all those turnovers that came along with the territory.
Yeah.
That's my thing. So, the dependence on Josh Allen, it kind of I don't know. His ability to make plays like he did in the final week game against the Patriots, we're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Nobody else can do that. Only it's him and Mahomes.
Yeah.
But my top 5.
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah. Did I say 6?
You should have.
Tyreek Hill if I didn't. I don't think I did.
Yeah, I don't think you did either, but yeah.
Yeah, so Tyreek Hill's my 6. I'll do my 5 and my 4. Okay. So I got Tyreek Hill at 6. He second in receptions, second in yards, tied for 15th in touchdowns. If he had two, I think he leads the league in all those.
Yeah.
Not in
Not touchdowns.
probably not
Not
touchdowns.
Well,
everything else.
he was having trouble scoring touchdowns all year.
But
Which is
Tua
weird.
didn't.
It was just the yards.
How many-
Jalen Watt. That's the problem is they would get down the field. Jalen Waddle would cook whoever's guarding him off the line, and
Can one of y'all look up how many games Tua missed? Because I actually don't know. I think he missed
a lot.
He missed like 5 games. Say
And that's-
Tyreek
that's-
gets like 2 and like
That's full games.
yeah,
That's not talking about like he went out.
Yeah.
During
like the
2
Bengals
3
game.
of those games.
Yeah, the Bengals game.
He
got
only
knocked
played
out.
13 games this year.
So yeah, he missed 4.
He was
games.
8-5 in those games.
Yeah. So you said he missed 4 games.
Yeah, along with
So
getting
in
knocked
that
out.
time-
2 or 3 of them he left early.
I think it was 2.
Well, one of them he left at the first half because they were blowing that team out. I think the Texans maybe.
Another
something like
point
that.
to what you're saying is at the time Tua, when he was playing, was leading in yards per attempt and quarterback rating.
Yeah,
So-
I mean he ended the season with more touchdowns than Hurts.
Yeah.
So
had
that
23,
trend-
I think. So
25.
25. Okay,
25
yeah.
and 8.
But my number 5 is Trent Williams. Probably the best tackle in football. I mean, dude's got wheels. I mean, I don't know if there's any other guy pulling from a tackle position and going out and lead blocking for Debo literally anybody in the backfield. 0 sacks allowed, 6 total penalties. He only started 14 games, but I don't know. I mean, he's so fucking good. And at the most important offensive position other than the quarterback. Left tackle. So, like, yeah, easily top 5. One of my favorite players in the NFL, Travis Kelce at number 4.
Wow.
3rd in receptions, 110. He had 1,338 yards, 12 touchdowns, and he had 12.2 per catch. I mean, he's just the GOAT. He kind of established himself as the GOAT this year, too, because he just kept breaking records.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. He's just so consistent. I feel like when it comes to his first playoff game, he's going to make a mark. They're going to end up playing who?
The Chiefs. I'm not sure,
I
but
think it's
they'll play
Jacksonville.
they'll
'cause-
play
Yeah, it's
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. So,
They'll
like,
play the lowest seed.
he should dominate. It's going to be fun. But, yeah, Travis Kelce at number 4. I had a lot more I felt like the value was there because, like, he was their number 1 receiver. And they lost Tyreek, and he's still hitting 1,000 yards. Like,
yeah. Is that easy?
it's Travis Kelce, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong. He's so good.
My number 4, Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Just who would have thought the Bengals would be this good?
Well, they went to the Super Bowl last year.
Well, I'm not saying this year. I'm just saying since they've gotten this guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
And he got hurt in his first year.
Yeah.
That's what sucks. Like, he could probably be a 3-time AFC contender.
It worked out for him because they got Jamar.
True. Yeah,
Which
they were
really
bad
helped
that
him.
year.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was kind of the sleeper for MVP talks until Jalen got hurt, and now he's finally getting some credit.
Yeah.
But he should have been the clear-cut 3 at that point.
Well, I mean, him and Allen, I think, are like neck
Yeah.
and neck, like for that number 2 spot.
Yeah.
Because they were tied in touchdowns, they were close
Yeah.
in yards. Like, in terms of QBR, I think
Yeah.
wasn't Burrow. Yeah, Burrow was 10th in QBR. Josh Allen was 2nd.
Yeah.
So, like,
And, I mean, if we look at those early games, which I'm not able to pull them up at the second, but, like, if we looked at those early games, I think he had 4 interceptions in the 3 or 4 in the first game, and then, like, 2 or 3 in the second.
against the Steelers and
Yeah. And then just turned it
he
completely
did start
around.
off the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started off so bad and then just still had the season that he's
yeah, he
had.
had like half his interceptions in the first 3 games or
Yeah.
something. So, like,
Unbelievable.
yeah, he's so good.
So that's my number 4.
I'm kind of
I got a combo here. I got way more people in my top 4 than it should be. as much as that makes sense. But I'm going off of impact alone for both of these players. It's Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey.
okay.
They Christian McCaffrey turned that team from being a contender with the right quarterback to being a contender with whatever quarterback's there.
Yeah.
That's just the fact of it. You can't fuck up. They look like an offense that you can't fuck up on.
So to me, that just tells me like if they had an elite quarterback,
Yeah, they have.
it's over. Like,
I'm
there's
gonna
no
keep
chance.
saying this because I think he could be on. Like if he was on a better team, he would be in the MVP discussion. Imagine if they had a Trevor Lawrence. That's the Super Bowl favorite, in my opinion. That's the Super Bowl
I mean, a
favorite.
lot of people already think they are.
Like,
Yeah,
well, even without him.
But Brock Purdy's playing as if he were amongst those guys. Like, he has the production there. Like, and maybe the system helps develop him as a quarterback.
And I know,
but you have to be a fucking savant when it comes to football terminology and
I know I'm being
it.
shitty about my numbers, but I don't give a fuck. It's not y'all's list. The viewers. My number 3 is Allen. I think he is, whether or not
Josh Allen?
Yeah. Whether or not like he had, like, even with the turnovers, that team's not there without him. And he
not at
is
all. No, fuck no. Yeah, he is the team.
He is exactly like you said, him and Mahomes. They're the only two people that can make the throws they do. Now, I think there's a third person creeping up in Trevor. I'm really high on Trevor Lawrence.
I love Trevor Lawrence.
But I've watched the games and seen that, hey, this kid can make every throw just like a Burrow.
He's not
Allen.
a social media quarterback.
He had the worst first half.
Worst first half.
4
But
picks.
But the second half, it don't matter.
you turn it around. Yeah. And that goes to fucking Doug Peterson being there. You don't have that with a fucking Urban Meyer. You have you have somebody who but you have somebody who is like, hey, like
I mean, Doug did it with Nick Foles in back-to-back playoffs, so like he's got a far better talent, like much more talented quarterback.
Yeah, and then
Doug Peterson, I loved it.
Josh Allen. I mean, they're not there. I've been seeing people say, "Oh, I don't ever want to hear him in the conversation with Burrow and Mahomes again." First off, Burrow isn't, in my opinion, I think there's a gap between Burrow and then Mahomes and Allen. I think it goes like
talent-wise,
Burrow,
for sure.
Gap, Allen,
the accomplishments,
big gap, Mahomes. Like that's.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe we'll have a broader discussion on that sometime. But like, I don't.
But like, I think if we're having any conversation with somebody shouldn't be in the conversation with other people, it's more Burrow than Allen.
Burrow gets it done though. Whereas Josh hasn't made it to a Super Bowl or has won an AFC Championship game. Whereas Joe beat the best team, like the defending AFC champions.
We'll see. Undefeated.
Never lost.
My number 3 is Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the league.
Not close, in my opinion.
I think
Wait
it is close.
a second.
It's not close because of.
Did Jalen Hurts make your list?
Well, hold the fuck on. You'll find out. I have 2 more spots. So I have Justin Jefferson.
Oh my god.
At number 3.
He's got Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is too.
That's awesome.
Number 1 in receptions, 128.
Brock Purdy's
number 1 in yards, 1,809, and only 8 touchdowns. 11th.
Cousins.
Yeah. I mean,
give him Cousins.
Of course. But
that's why I think it's not close. Give him Derek Carr.
Do you think if
he does better with Derek
Carr,
Carr,
the Vikings could get in a position to draft one of the top 2 guys in this draft, they would do it?
No.
You don't think so?
I think
Kirk Cousins has done enough
Kirk
to
has
stay.
like the guaranteed deals and shit too, but like he's so good, he could probably train.
Kirk has done enough to stay. That's the problem with Kirk is he's the Jay Cutler of this era.
Yeah, I used to fuck with Jay Cutler.
Yeah, but Jay Cutler was also doing just enough to start to where you couldn't bring somebody else in. That's what Kirk's going to do.
Kirk, I think, is overachieving a little bit.
Yeah. I just want to get
Look
some more
at the
credit.
receiver.
Justin Jefferson said, I am going to be the best receiver in the league. I will show you ball.
He is.
And he did. I think
not a question.
I think it is in question with Jamar. If Jamar doesn't miss those games,
I don't think Jamar's better than Devontae. That's just a personal opinion, though.
But yeah, I think Jamar is that good. I think it is them too, and it's crazy to see that these super young players. On that note, though, I mean, wide receiver is the most stacked position, and the fact that Justin Jefferson shown that he was the best this year by that margin shows that.
That's crazy.
It's going to be right. The reason why I said Jalen Hurts because I forgot that you had already said Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where I was confused. I'm sorry about that. But Justin Jefferson's topped his previous season each time. So like his rookie
he also
year,
broke Randy Moss's record for yards in the first 3 seasons.
He has over 5,000 yards already in 3 years.
That's where I'm separating it as it's not a question
yards,
to me.
1,600 yards, 1,800 yards.
Yeah, he's literally gone up every single year.
The way that I think of it in a sense of it's not a question to me is put him in any other situation in the league. Does he do better than the situations there? And in my opinion, yes. I think he does better with Burrow than Jamar does.
I said the same shit about D-Hop, and everybody's like, no, you're fucking crazy. I'm like, if you give D-Hop Patrick Mahomes. He's obviously the best quarterback in the
But
league.
I still think Justin's better than D-Hop. Just now.
No, I don't.
Well, yeah, if you put Justin with
Devontae had a
Mahomes,
full,
he'd do the same shit that DeAndre does.
That's what
I think DeAndre is the best.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I say
the same quarterback as everyone.
That's where that's how I rate.
All right, let's get this shit over with. Well, I mean, I still have 3 more to go, but Justin Jefferson number 3. Everything we've said already.
We're on 3.
Yeah.
I am. You should be on 2.
You'll be on 2 and 1.
Yeah.
But
technically 3.
But yeah,
I don't understand how you did this.
I don't either. Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the league. Literally the only reason the Vikings were here. Their defense is terrible. So Justin Jefferson is it. Number 2 though.
In every year he's better.
He's literally not.
Oh my God! That's
Rookie
the
year.
fucking
Rookie
Tyler
year.
Lockett argument.
What's going on? I don't even know what's going on.
Jamar.
And
I'm
Jamar
pulling
had
up
55.
Jamar.
Jamar had 55 more yards his rookie year.
Rookie year. Justin Jefferson had 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns. Jamar had 1,455, 13 touchdowns.
He had more targets.
No,
So
he had less receptions.
less receptions,
more opportunity.
Literally not less in his hand.
It was literally only by 3. It was 128 to 125.
But he caught it.
That's
less.
why. That's why.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, defensive player of the year.
I'm not hating. They're
Nick
my
Bosa.
favorites.
18.5 sacks, 19 tackles for losses, tied for second. Led the league in sacks, 2 forced fumbles, no recoveries. But I don't know how you don't say this dude deserves the award. He's really fucking good. The best player on his team. Mm-hmm. Which is saying fucking a lot. Dude, they've got so many.
Who was your 3?
Players. My 3?
He's on 2.
Jefferson.
Oh, and then your 2?
And it was Nick Bosa.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But
we all have the same number 1. That's funny.
I mean, come on.
I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here?
I mean,
what are we talking about here? You're good, Brendan. There's nothing else I can say. Nick Bosa is so good.
my number 2 was the MVP runner-up in my heart,
Yeah.
and the MVP if he didn't get hurt. My number 2 is Jalen Hurts.
That's
fucking
insane.
I think if it came down to it, the reason that my number 1 is who it is because he was the best player in the league this year.
Yeah.
That was our criteria. If this guy doesn't miss these last 2 games, he is that. And I'm not taking that away. I think he's still the second best.
Yeah.
Because it was that close. I mean,
It's so hard. I mean,
Since we've all
Patrick
talked
Mahomes
about-
put up fucking 5,300
I get it.
yards
Since
I
we've all
understand.
talked about Jalen,
with a worse
where do you all
receiving
think
core.
he sits currently in the hierarchy of quarterbacks?
I want to see
So,
him do it again.
okay.
Because I think there's clearly
That's my
there's
problem,
like
'cause he's
3
not
guys
better
that
than
I would
Burrow.
clearly put above.
Yes.
Like
He's
I
not
would
better
have
than Burrow, Allen, or Mahomes.
Allen or Mahomes. Those are
You
the
can
3.
make
Those
the
3 are
argument
very-
for Trevor Lawrence.
I would not.
Give Trevor Lawrence the Eagles' offense and
So-
tell me that they're not in a better
That
position.
is a good argument.
But that's
the only
sure.
argument.
That's the argument. But like, all right, put them all in.
The only
Kansas
thing that you
City.
could say,
The
yeah.
decision making.
If you put them both on Kansas City, Trevor Lawrence does better than Jalen does on Kansas City.
Yeah, but the
Give 'em-
I mean, we don't know that.
we don't know that.
Yeah, well, I'm comparing the situation that they're in does help the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's just
No, that's
the way it
that's
fucking
that's the reason he's
Um,
up here is because they put the system around him. It's the same thing with what's your name? Justin Fields. Like when you guys were succeeding is because you were putting him in the position to do what he does best. That's what the Eagles did.
currently. I would not take Jalen over Mahomes,
Allen
Herbert yet.
It's so
Joe
hard.
Burrow,
or Allen.
Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean it's Aaron Rodgers.
It's hard to evaluate a quarterback when
So like those are very clear cut. Honestly, Lamar, Kyler, I would still take over him.
I don't like Kyler's attitude, but he was
I don't
just
give a fuck about their
he
well,
was-
I mean, some of that stuff
I get
does
it, I
matter
get
when
it.
it comes.
he
to
was the
Tom Brady.
absolute worst. I think it's hard to evaluate Jalen because of he is a. Like, I don't want to say he's a system quarterback, but do I think he excels in
He's got a
an Aaron
fantastic
Rodgers
roster,
system?
yeah.
Do I think he excels in a Justin Herbert system? Like, I don't think he has the arm to compare to these people.
But just
and that's the problem.
On a quick look, I do not put him as a better quarterback going into next year. I don't think that he is a better quarterback. He had a better season than all of them except one.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about it.
He's probably 8.
So my thing is, the reason why I asked the question is because I know
Joe Burrow was not.
Yeah.
I consider him the 3rd best quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have done that last year, even though his stats would have put him probably the 3rd best quarterback in. Oh no, because Tom Brady had a crazy year last year. But
Tom Brady
like I'm
led
saying,
in fucking almost
yeah.
every
But Joe Burrow
statistic
wouldn't have been the
last year.
3rd best quarterback in the league last year. Same as if Jalen has another season like he did this year, he would move into that depending on how the other quarterbacks do.
at the very worst, where do you think he lands? Because I think he
That's the very
established
lowest.
himself at the very least as a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he's the best quarterback.
I think
in
he's
the
a
division.
5 to 10 quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's the best quarterback in the division.
8 is the lowest.
Yeah,
Because I would be willing
he's
to
probably
say
a top 3.
I'd
NFC
agree with you.
quarterback.
I'd be willing to say Mahomes, Herbert, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Lawrence, Aaron. I mean, even Brady.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted
So yeah,
to.
there's 9. Or
So that's
he'd be 9th
9
right there.
He'd be 9th.
Because I don't think
And that's why I
he's
said
better
he's a
than
5 to
Dak.
10.
I like him more than Dak. And that's where it really gets iffy. Like at that point, you're starting to get into the Derek Carrs, the Kirk Cousins,
Jared Goff.
Russell
Jared
Wilson.
Goff, Jared Goff had a great
Russell
year.
Wilson.
Russell Wilson has an actual coach.
Yeah.
Because I've been shitting on Russell all year. It's a coach.
That last game was
Yeah.
very telling because
Yeah.
they looked
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he looks good. He
looked
probably had
good.
his best 3 games.
I mean, you got Cortland Sutton involved
Honestly,
who didn't do anything all year.
If Jared Goff had another year like he did, and
Jared Goff
Jalen fell back into what he had 2 years ago, which I don't think he's going to regress by any means, but just saying, then I would take him.
To
over
put into
him, but
perspective, though, he had over 4,200 yards. Well, let's look at it.
Total.
So 4,400 total yards, 4,461. So that would put him what?
1 in total yards.
No, Mahomes had over 5,000.
yeah, just passing,
So
250 passing.
combine his touchdowns, he would be sitting at 35. That's tied with Burrow and Allen. But Allen has rushing touchdowns too, so I don't know how many he has. But
And that's the real thing that because the thing I think with the top 5 quarterbacks is the reason I don't think Jalen is in that situation because if you put any of those top 5 quarterbacks in your position, you're better.
Yeah,
Allen,
for sure.
Mahomes,
Yeah,
Burrow,
that's where I have
Lawrence,
no.
you're better. You are a better team.
I have no argument there.
But
Like,
it's hard.
I would love Josh Allen as my quarterback.
Yeah, if you put Patrick Mahomes on
Or
any team,
Josh
No
Allen
fucking
on
shit.
that offense, the way y'all are able to run the ball and protect.
Yeah,
Dude,
he would-
Josh
he
Allen
would-
on that, you would be Super Bowl favorite every year he's there. With the roster constructed how it is now, it wouldn't be close.
But I don't want to sell Jalen short either because I feel like
Yeah.
he could get to that level.
But he's growing.
His arm
It's the
talent
same
will
thing I
never
was
match.
saying with what's his name?
His arm
Parsons.
talent will never match.
Jefferson wasn't the best receiver last year, even though he had an
it's a
arguable
third-
year.
Yeah,
You
he's
have to
gotten better
progress.
every year. The progression is there.
The argument I have for Jalen is that he will never have the arm talent of Allen or Mahomes.
But I don't
he has the
care if
consistency.
he can run the ball.
He has
It's
the
the same thing with
consistency
Lamar.
of every quarterback in the NFL. He makes the best decisions of any quarterback in the NFL. He has great deep threat targets. He's got great receivers around him, great weapons. He's got a good system, great
That's
coach.
not a holdback for me, though.
Yeah.
That's not a holdback
I
on
don't-
Jalen because
I
I'm
don't
not
penalize-
expecting him to
I'm
have
not
the
going to
arm.
penalize Brock Purdy for having the supporting
Yeah.
cast he does. Like, if he ends up being a fucking starter
When I see
next year-
Jalen, I see Justin Fields. I see Lamar level
Yeah.
player. That's the level that I see. Like I'm not expecting him to have the arm talent. I'm expecting him to get out of the pocket, throw the ball. I'm expecting him to run the power.
You say you
like
don't expect
he
him to
does.
have the arm talent, but he still
And he
showcases,
still does. Yeah,
showcases like
it's
deep
all
ball accuracy and
pluses.
stuff.
It's all pluses. It's the same thing with Lamar.
Yeah.
Lamar has progressed every year, and we're seeing it. And he doesn't need to beat you passing. Like he needs to beat you playing football. The Bears are only going to win with Justin Fields playing football and doing his thing.
Yeah. Let's go look real quick before we're obviously going to finish up the segment. I want to just look real quick at team stats.
Y'all were number 1 in rushing, right?
I'm about to look. That's what I want to look at.
Y'all were. I mean, you were running for 230 fucking yards a game.
In yards per game, San Francisco 1, Baltimore 2nd, New York 3rd, Jacksonville 4th, Buffalo 5th.
Oh, this is total yards.
Oh, no, is that?
That's got to be total yards. That's not rushing.
No, it's rushing yards per game.
So all those teams were better than you rushing this year? I don't believe that.
It's because it's in the postseason. Fucking stupid.
I was ready to say, dude, fix that because
So
I'm 95%
Philly was
positive.
5th. They were 5th, yeah. New York was better. Atlanta was better.
Well, New
Baltimore
York fucking
and
went
Chicago.
there out of the
Chicago
football.
for sure because
They're even a situation. Like we're fucking reevaluating how we think of Daniel Jones because they're letting that motherfucker play football.
And
They
where
have
were the
a-
Giants
they have a
and-
quarterback guru as their head coach?
I'm looking for where the Giants were in rushing.
Like
they
between
they were
Saquon
4th.
and
So the
Daniel
Giants
Jones?
were 4th in rushing.
Like, between Saquon and Daniel Jones, like, it's...
Yeah. But yeah.
Right. Who's your two? And then you said you have two number ones?
I have two number ones because I think it's...
Cheating.
I'm looking at the awards, and so
instead of a 1 and a 2, you
it's
have a
1
1
A
and a 1.
1 B.
Okay, I gotcha.
So he has a 2 and a
number 2 is Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Second best player in the league, right? Or third, technically, by my list. But best receiver in the league, I don't think it's close. Give him any of the top quarterback situations, or give him like someone that's not Kirk Cousins, like something like, I don't know. I just believe he would output better than these receivers in their situation.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it with Kirk, and we all know how we feel about Kirk. He's just good enough to stay. He's just good enough to start.
Yeah.
Now, my 1A and 1B, it's Nick Bosa and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
In my opinion, exact same impact, different sides of the ball. That defense and that team is not as good without Nick Bosa, and that team, the Chiefs, are nothing without Mahomes. You have Travis Kelce and a porous defense. That's it. They this year were the difference makers in separating it. And in a year where the 49ers were obviously expected to do good, but the numbers from Mahomes were expected to digress because they lost Mahomes. He just put up 5,200 yards. I'm not hearing none of that. He's clearly, in my opinion, the best player in the league. He's the number one quarterback, number one player in the league.
We're
like,
right there with you, bud.
There's nothing
Patrick
you can
Mahomes.
do.
It's not
number one is Patrick Mahomes.
Brock Purdy. Let's go. And then number 0.
Number 0.
I have a 1A and 1B
Zero.
just off of the impact alone. Like, I think Nick Bosa made that level of impact that we haven't seen since like an Aaron Donald, or like even like J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Like
and he missed 2 fucking games,
he
dude.
missed 2 games,
Give him those 2 games, he hits 20 for sure. All right, that wraps it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun, like doing the stats research and stuff, making the list, kind of figuring out where I'm putting everybody. We left off some people that others had. I definitely left off a couple that I wish I put on, like Christian or Eckler.
Yeah, I wish
Some of
Big
those
Play
guys.
would have made mine.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is.
CMC not making yours is insane to me. So.
Jalen Hurts being number 2 for you. That's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the neck and neck. Like, I don't ever think he truly took over on the MVP, just because even if you take everything
I think
he
they were tied
done
in the race there.
Yeah, like, I think they were tied, but even if it came down to it, you give him those other 2 games, like, Patrick Mahomes is still probably going to have more touchdowns and more yards. Just passing.
Yeah.
That right there. And I can make an argument that outside of Kelce, the Eagles have a better offense, better line, better running game, better run game, better full receivers.
So they have a better line. There's an argument that they have the second best line.
The Chiefs, no.
The Chiefs
I'd
line's
probably
good.
say the Cowboys.
Well, I think Creed Humphrey's probably right there with Jason Kelsey, and then I'm trying to remember who.
But we're talking about
is it
entirety of
Orlando
lines.
Brown?
Like, we got to think
Orlando
of
Brown's their left
He's
tackle.
on the Ravens.
Are you sure?
He went to the Ravens, I thought.
Their offensive line is stacked.
It is stacked.
It's stacked,
I can't
but
remember
it's.
their
I don't
names.
think it's 2, like you're saying. Like, I don't think it's the second best, because like there was a lot of great offensive lines this year.
Yeah,
like, there really was.
Orlando Brown's the left tackle for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But all right, let's close this segment out. It's gonna be fun. Hopefully
Getting
we
into
can
the playoffs.
we can move forward and they can legitimize themselves within these positions. We're gonna talk about the Super Wildcard Weekend though. The only game we're not gonna talk about is Dallas at Tampa Bay. They play tomorrow night. We're shooting this on Sunday night. The Ravens and Bengals, they just wrapped up their game.
Yep.
You guys want to start there? It's probably the least interesting game, I guess.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Nobody expected the Ravens to win because Lamar
Yeah,
didn't
and
play.
they almost did.
They almost did win. That's the thing.
A 98-yard
Fumble recovery for a touchdown.
scoop and score, longest in playoff history.
Over James Harrison's?
Apparently, I got
Holy
the notification
shit, okay.
earlier. Yeah,
I'm sure they
It's
probably
the-
consider the Super Bowl a different.
No,
Hey,
it's
Because
still
James Harrison was
it's
a
still
100-yard
postseason.
return. James Harrison was the full length of the field.
Well, no, because he would have broke the plane. Maybe it was like 93 yards or something.
who knows? But
I don't know.
yeah, that's what secured the victory for them, which is pretty crazy because without Lamar, this should have been an easier game. But
Should have been an easier game. Yeah, James Harrison was 100 yards. This is the longest interception
Holy
of all time. So
What was the fumble
That's an
recovery?
interception. This is a scoop
Yeah,
and
that's
score.
Was it an
Yeah.
interception? Holy shit.
Yeah, so
That's
this
wild.
is longest scoop and score in playoff history. We all picked the Bengals. I'm assuming you did too.
Yeah.
We didn't get your predictions, but of course,
It's fucking
Um,
Lamar's not there.
not much else to say about this game. Moving on, we have the Giants won 31-24 at the Vikings.
The fucking Vikings are a fraud. I've been saying.
The only upset so far? Yes.
Well,
No,
I think
I think it's an upset because of the teams, but I
it's
think
seeding.
it's the only literal upset. Like by
the
rankings,
Vikings
this is
are
the
the
only
best.
upset so far.
Yeah, the
Minnesota
Vikings were
was
the
favored.
worst best team. If that makes any sense.
the best worst team.
Yeah,
No, they were the
yes.
worst best team.
Yes.
Yeah, the worst best
Well,
team. That's right.
They were the worst of the best teams in the
So-
league.
yeah.
The Giants would have been the worst team in the playoffs if the Dolphins and Ravens had their starting quarterback.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
because
Seattle?
yeah,
put them
that's
over
what-
Seattle?
Yeah, because I think that the Giants' defense has been more consistent.
I would take Seattle to win over the Giants.
Yeah, I probably would.
It'd be
too.
close for me.
It would be close.
It'd come down
but-
to
I mean, they
quarterback
were
play.
literally the 6 and 7.
Yeah.
But like, say the Lions get in, I feel like the Lions are better than Seattle. So
Yeah.
like, I feel like they would also beat the Giants.
But this is an upset, and it should be surprising. But we all kind of knew the Vikings sucked as the best, as the,
worst.
one of the
Daniel
best
Jones
teams.
was torching this team, and it's
Yeah.
the best he's ever looked, especially in a.
Saquon with eating.
He had like a 30-yard run in the first half
Yeah, that was
for
nasty.
a touchdown. It was so good. I don't know who's number 18 for the Giants. Is it Richie James? He has been fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, he just came out of nowhere, I feel. He's their best receiver right now, and, like, I don't know. He makes contested catches. Like, Daniel Jones went off. He had 24 of 35, 301 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, but they were kind of inconsequential a little bit. Saquon Barkley, 9 for 53, 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones ran the ball 17 times. He escaped the pocket, ran on his own.
Yeah.
Not a lot of design runs.
I take it back.
What's up?
The fucking Chargers were the best worst team just because of how injured they were.
And
They lost
They were
every-
pretty healthy.
No, Mike
At the
Williams
end.
didn't
Yeah.
play. No,
Well,
Mike Williams didn't
Mike
play.
Williams didn't play because he had a back
Keenan
fracture.
Allen was troubled. Their fucking defense.
Keenan played, though.
Yeah.
He went out there, so we're not going to make excuses for him.
But no, they were the worst best team because their coach is abysmal.
Yeah.
But we're going to get to them after this next game. The most surprising close game, we had the Dolphins at the Bills. The Dolphins lose 31-34.
Yeah. Josh Allen
This
just
shouldn't
kind
have
of
been
took
close.
over.
This is the same thing as the Bengals game. It shouldn't have been
This
this
is a
close.
third-string quarterback for the Dolphins going against.
It was a fucking like
Bills.
turnover fest too. I don't know
Yeah.
if y'all saw that, but like
Yeah, it was really weird.
Josh Allen had 2 picks, Skylar Thompson had 2 picks. There was a lot of fumbling.
Yeah.
I think it was just like getting the jitters out a little bit.
Maybe.
Gabe Davis, I don't know what it is about this guy. He's so fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
he's matching production with Stephon Diggs. Like, Stephon, like, I don't know. When it comes to targeting these two, like, you can't go wrong.
Just target one of them.
Either one of them. Yeah. So, Josh Allen, he fumbled the ball 3 times, but he lost one of them. So, he had 3 turnovers in this game. They were trying their best to blow the game, I feel like.
Yeah. It seemed like it for us.
Skylar Thompson is horrible, though. 18 of 45.
And this is Miami traveling to Buffalo in January.
So bad.
Like, it was so bad for
Yeah.
the Dolphins for them to still put up 31 points.
So, 9
pretty
of
insane.
15. I'm trying to think of the completion percentage there.
Don't care. It was bad. You said 9 of 13?
9 of 15 because the ratio. I'm thinking of the ratio. So, like, 18 of 45.
Mhm.
Let's do that. 18 divided by 45. He completed 40% of his passes.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Dude, you can't win like that.
Yeah. Anything else to say about this game?
It's embarrassing. Like,
Yeah.
they were close. If they had 2, they win.
It seemed like it.
I
It
think.
definitely seemed like it.
It
If
just-
the Bills played like this when they had to it, they for sure lose this game.
This is a big vulnerability for the Bills, I feel like they've kind of got a template on how to win. Force turnovers from Josh Allen, make him make mistakes. You're going to be close.
That's so easy to say, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
if
the
we
thing
make
is,
the quarterback make mistakes.
Frustrate the fuck out of him by making him play slow offense. That's whenever he starts doing this. That's what he's done all year.
Yeah.
Whenever he gets into, he led the league in turnovers. He had 30 turnovers this year. Had a lot of fumbles lost. Had a lot of picks.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Whenever it comes to Josh Allen taking care of the football, it's been a struggle. So, yeah, teams have a blueprint on how to beat them. They go to play the Bengals next week in Cincy.
Yeah.
Or is that a neutral site game? I'm pretty sure that's
The only neutral site game on the
Maybe
AFC
the
side
AFC
is if
championship?
the Chiefs and
So
Bills
they're going to
play.
Buffalo.
Yes.
How?
That's how it works.
Damn it.
But
that's
up
weird.
next, we have a game that if you would have told me that the score would have been 30-31, I'd have believed you. I'd have said that sounds reasonable.
How do we get there, though?
But how we got there, the Chargers lost 30-31 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions
In the first half?
in the first half.
How many of those were in the first quarter?
3 in the first quarter. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
all
sure.
the fucking,
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, he was.
Asante Samuel.
Asante Samuel Jr. had
Yes.
3.
Yeah, he had a hat trick and ended the game with 4 touchdowns.
And
he
they
threw
were
3 in the
He
second
was
half.
picking them apart in the second half. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, think
The
about
Chargers
going into
fell apart.
the locker room.
They were up 27-7.
Yeah. Think about going into the locker room as a head coach. Like, Doug has to calm this dude down. And then he's got to keep his composure. Dude, you just threw 4 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah,
And you come out and pick them apart like that?
yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody else that could do that. You know, like, have that composure. Like,
Yeah.
And for Justin Herbert to kind of fall apart in the second half, I feel like he couldn't get the ball off. There was a lot of, like, pressure on him.
Yeah.
He didn't perform well within
This
the
is
pressure.
the most injured team all year. I'm not going to let anyone not bring that up.
Well, yeah, they definitely were injured going into the game for sure, but it's not an excuse
not
for you
injured,
to
it's
blow
just
a
all
fucking
year.
20-point lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if
After
they were
showing
the
you're
most
dominant on defense too, like
Yeah.
I don't know, Evan Ingram. I don't know what
When
the
you
fuck,
have
like where the fuck that come from?
When you have 27 points in the first half,
Yeah,
to only score 30,
that's embarrassing.
that is embarrassing. Brandon
Brandon Staley
brought that in
loses
the
his
third quarter.
job. I don't know if y'all are on board
Has
with
to.
that.
Has to.
It
He's
sucks.
made horrible decisions all year,
Yeah.
and now it is coming back to bite him in the playoffs, in a game that they had won.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is the
think
problem.
about all the teams that have collapsed this year, and I'm pretty sure Al Michaels was calling this game.
Mm-hmm.
He fucking called it. He was like, I don't know. He had mentioned like something about a lot of collapses this year, and then it just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So Al Michaels, like, he jinxed it.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. I'm just thinking about that, dude. That was so fucking good.
yeah,
Man, he saw the writing on the wall with Justin Herbert, the social media quarterback.
yeah,
So, my pick for the Super Bowl this year was Chargers-Eagles.
yeah.
And
Going into
fucking course,
going into the year.
going into the year, they had a chance to do it. They were up 20 points and kind of let it go. So, fuck y'all for screwing up my pick.
they're super injured. I don't agree with the
I don't
notion that Justin Herbert's a social media quarterback. He's
He's a good player.
I think
I'm
he's
I'm going to go along with the memes because he lost this game and
Yeah.
he deserves criticism.
I think
so.
that he's not the reason they lost, but he is a reason they lost.
Yeah.
But moving on, we have the Seattle Seahawks going to the San Francisco 49ers, and they lose 23-41.
It was a snowball after the first
Half looked real good.
Coming into the second half, I don't know what it just seemed. It seemed like if you're a Seattle fan, you're super biased, and you start to see like on multiple drives, oh, you got a holding, then you got a false start, then you got a delay game. Oh, we got another holding after a big play.
Yeah.
It kept happening.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad calls. Well, not just bad calls, but like calls that went against them.
Yeah.
and
And it became like the momentum just started getting out of hand. And then Geno throws that pick, and it seems over at that point.
Yeah. Geno went 25 for 35, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick.
Greatest playoff debut for a rookie ever.
Brock Purdy went 18 for 30, 332 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I don't know, dude. He had a rushing touchdown. Man.
Yeah, really.
And
this was the thing is like as a rookie, in your first playoff game, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
I definitely expected some rust, maybe them to play a little safer with the ball, but let them throw the ball 30 times.
Yeah.
So
it looks like it's starting to
and
shape out to be.
he played
San
well.
Francisco is going to come see Philly in the link for the NFC Championship.
Yeah, which is
the Philly's going to end up playing the Giants next week.
which is what I wanted to bring up is who we have for each of the playoff games.
So
because it is
yeah
decided the matchups.
Not yet because of tomorrow night.
Giants.
That's
That's the only one that won't. But
yeah, whoever wins the game tomorrow night will play
49ers.
The 49ers.
Yeah, so the matchups are decided other than the winner of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the other side of things, we have Bengals Bills.
That's a rough one for me.
It's really tough because they both just very much
There's going to be a
underachieved.
lot of emotion around that game because of DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah.
Like, kind of just getting back into this, like, after 2 weeks of being off.
Whoever wins this, I want to win the Super Bowl.
I feel like that if the Bengals can generate pressure and get Allen into making mistakes, we're going to see a repeat. For the AFC,
I think we see a
for the
lot
AFC
cleaner
title
game from Allen and the Bengals.
I would hope that
Bills.
that's the case, but like I think the Bengals defense is far more capable of making Josh cause
I
those.
don't know. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. I don't think we're going to see another turnover field game.
With how close the margin was in the Dolphins game, I don't think that you can make those mistakes and get past the Bengals. It's just not happening.
I don't think that's going to. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to happen.
So you think that the Bills end up winning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl going into the
You're
season.
sticking with them.
I'm sticking with them unless they lose. And if they lose, I'm a Bills fan all the way through. So
all right.
I'm gonna pick the Bengals to win this one. And you got the Bengals as well?
Yep.
Okay. Next game will be Jacksonville
at Kansas City.
That sucks.
Didn't I say this last week? It's gonna be crazy when Trevor Lawrence is in a Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Can Dougie P get it done?
The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl.
I think.
I mean, who's really gonna bet against the
Chiefs?
The Chiefs here? Like, there's just no way.
Me.
You're honestly gonna take Jacksonville here?
No, I think he's talking about in the
Do I look like I'm lying?
I mean, I don't.
Jacksonville's not beating fucking the Chiefs.
Doug Peterson gets it done.
They might.
No.
I don't think so, but they might. And then we got the Eagles going against the Giants.
Third time around.
Fucking got a cakewalk to the goddamn championship. Jesus Christ!
why you
You're
get
not
the
gonna
Oh
have
yeah,
to-
cakewalk. Yeah, we're
That's
gonna
what
play
you
San
get the
Francisco. In
That's
the
it's the hardest game y'all played all year.
Honestly, man, it's gonna be fun. Playing the Giants the third time around. I think that Daniel Jones kind of actually poses a threat with his legs.
So it's
And
hard to.
We've been struggling with the run defense all year. Hopefully,
I
Jordan
don't
Davis
think
is
they
back
can run it
healthy.
enough though.
It's hard to beat a divisional team 3 times unless you're the 49ers.
Well, we're better than the 49ers, so we're gonna do it.
I am taking the Eagles here.
I think
Yeah.
I mean, no,
And
it's
then-
the Giants.
Yeah. And then we got Cowboys Bucks. Who do we have there?
I've had Tampa winning that for a couple weeks now.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa somehow pulled this
Well,
out.
it's Tom
but
Brady. Tom Brady's gonna win the game.
Dallas, but
I'm going Dallas too, but I don't like
I
betting
wouldn't be
against Tom
surprised
Brady.
if fucking.
And then, regardless, we're going to take Cowboys here to play the 49ers. We're taking the 49ers, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. And then
That's gonna be
you're
a
taking the
good
Bucks.
game.
Tampa and San Francisco.
Do you really think Tom
Tom
Brady
Brady
can get it done?
But see, that's the thing. Like,
Tom
Didn't
Brady
they already
against-
run through the Bucks?
did they play the
Pretty
Bucks
sure
this
they
year?
played the Bucks.
They may
this year.
have.
Sure.
But it's a different Bucks team.
No, it's not.
You don't think that
They
if
have
they-
been
you
playing
don't think
better.
they can ride momentum off of
they
being
won-
What momentum?
They won 35
They
to
didn't
7.
repeat anything in that
First-
in their most recent game. They didn't repeat anything that won them the game before. They didn't get the ball to Mike Evans. They weren't able to fucking run the ball. Defense is still ass. No, this
They won 35 to 7.
this might be the best team in the playoffs.
And they're the first rookie quarterback to beat Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Purdy.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Purdy was
Brock
playing there.
Purdy.
What I was saying about the momentum, I'm saying, like, what if they beat Dallas and they ride off of that?
They're not beating Dallas.
Going, Okay,
I think
that's
they
true.
can. I think they definitely
So if they beat Dallas, you
But-
think they have a better chance of beating San Francisco? Is my question.
No.
Obviously, you do.
I think San Fran is going to smack the piss out
And-
of whoever they play.
We went to Tampa last season to play them in their house to try to advance in the playoffs. They beat the shit out of us.
It
I think
wasn't the
Jalen
same
Hurts.
team.
This is going to be the ugliest.
It was very clearly not the same team. Don't even try and bring that up.
Five-
Neither of those teams are the same teams that they were at that moment last year.
5
You know
years
that.
ago, you could have told me that the Final Four was going to be the Bengals, the Jaguars, the 49ers,
This is not the worst
and the
Final Four.
Cowboys. The
The worst
Final, Cowboy, and the Giants.
The worst Final Four we've ever had was without a doubt the year that y'all won the Super Bowl. Fucking Blake Bortles in the fucking championship
Case
game.
Keenum.
And Case Keenum, no,
Yeah,
get the fuck
dogs.
out of
Well,
Nick
Blake
Foles-
almost got it done, dude. He was one throw away from getting it done.
Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Think of that. It was
the
Brady.
Vikings had no chance.
It was
Brady,
Brady,
Foles.
Foles, Keenum, and fucking
And
Bortles. That
Bortles,
is the
yeah.
worst 4 in a championship game ever.
Well, the way it's going to end up, it's going to be
Oh, my God.
it's going to be Trevor Lawrence,
Think about how young.
Joe Burrow.
That's what I was about to say. Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow,
Brock Purdy,
and
and Jalen Hurts
Brady.
and Brady.
It can't be Brady and Purdy, but
no, yeah, they're gonna play.
and then it's gonna be Danny Dimes.
Okay, being realistic,
Just the
I think
fucking
that I think
underdog of every game wins. I wouldn't watch. The
Who
Super
do I
Bowl.
want to
really
win?
wouldn't
I
give a
want-
fuck
Really?
at that point.
No,
No,
Brock Purdy and Trevor Lawrence are going at it. In the
I would watch it because of Trevor Lawrence, but I would be afraid if we got really young people in there, like they were gonna fucking just turn the ball over.
That'd
so
be fun.
much. Like it's Purdy is due for a bad game.
you all give Dallas
and-
no shot in the NFC or against San Francisco if they
No.
play.
Yeah,
They haven't played this year though.
I don't think
That's
they
fine.
beat them. I'm not saying no shot. I
That's
just
a
don't
revenge
think.
game from last year. You're on revenge games. Come
I
on.
am on revenge games, but
I
don't
would
bet it-
much rather play Dallas than San
the
Francisco.
rule used to be don't bet against Tom Brady. Now the rule is don't bet against Big Dick Brock. Don't bet against him.
I'm not. No, it's not. We're
You're
we're
literally
very
not betting
prisoner of the moment on this right now.
Jalen makes it hurt so good.
We're very prisoner of.
We're
the moment
agreeing,
on
but
Purdy
he doesn't
right
like
now.
it.
So my matchup would be I'm taking. I can't believe I'm fucking saying this,
49ers
but
and
Doug
Bengals.
Peterson beats the fucking
It's
Chiefs.
not happening.
That's so crazy because that's not fucking.
It's it's not fucking happening. What if Travis Etienne like goes the fuck off?
Yeah,
Like they just came back from 20 down. Like they can easily do that again.
we
Against-
You
the
talk about the Bills doing what they did and not being able to win. Fucking Trevor Lawrence comes out here and has 4 interceptions against Mahomes. It's going to be a fucking 50-0 game.
Bengals Jags in Cincy.
That's the game you can't make excuses.
You know
Bengals
what it
Jags.
is? You know what it is?
What?
That was the third biggest playoff deficit win. The 27 points.
Yeah.
They're gonna go down. I think it's 34 or something like that.
And
That's how
come
much
back.
they're gonna,
Oh my
and then
God.
they're gonna come back, and then it's gonna be the number 1, and they're gonna come back. That's how
Holy shit,
he's setting
man.
up the best playoffs of all time. But all right, we're moving on to our last call. Unless anyone else has anything else to say about these games.
Do we have okay? So you all have for the championship game. You have Eagles, San Francisco, and you have Bills, Chiefs.
And I have Bengals,
Bengals, Chiefs. Eagles, San Francisco. Right.
I'm gonna take yes.
Because you haven't beaten Dallas.
I don't
You have
want the
Dallas winning
Bengals
as
to
well.
make it again,
I
dude.
will
I talk
say-
shit too much.
I will say in the playoffs, I'm not gonna pick further than that only because it will depend on
Well,
how
I'm just establishing the
Jalen-
championship game because that'll be the following week.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it depending on how Jalen
Oh, I
plays
just turned you
versus
down. That's my
how
bad.
Brock plays is how I will pick on who moves on to the Super Bowl. If Brock has a shitty ass game and they just scrape by, then I think that Brock will probably have another bad game. And same as Jalen. If Jalen has a shitty ass game and
Yeah.
they scrape by, I think that he's gonna underperform again.
I think they're getting
But
the
if they
Giants
both
again.
playing super well,
Getting the
I don't
Giants
know.
again is a blessing because
Yeah.
I mean I just don't think their defense can hold up against like
Yeah.
even if he makes mistakes early on, we can
Yeah.
run the ball and
Yeah.
get him
I
in
think
the
they make up
rhythm.
for it.
But like, yeah. So you have Bengals, Chiefs in the AFC Championship. You have 49ers, Eagles in the NFC.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow's
I
undefeated against
have
the Chiefs.
I have the Bengals, Jaguars, and I have
I can't. Get the fuck out of here.
I-
A complete
I don't-
underdog AFC championship game.
That's cool. I like it.
the Eagles, and I don't know if I should.
I don't
take-
necessarily
I kind of
wanna
want to
There's
take.
no way you're
I
taking
kind of
Tom
want to
Brady
take
all the way.
Tampa.
Tampa's not.
It's Tom fucking Brady.
Tampa's the
You
worst
think he
team
loses
left
to
right
a
now.
fucking rookie quarterback twice?
Tampa's the worst
Is
team
Tampa
left right
Bay
now.
worse
Yes.
than
Than the Giants. Yes.
Than the Giants.
No.
Yes.
Hell
Roster.
no.
Look at the defense.
It's really close.
No, because they're
Look at
getting
the
healthy.
defense. They're not getting healthy. They're still bad.
No, they're
Their
not.
defense is still bad.
All right.
They had one good game, and it was because fucking Mike Evans did the same move 3 times in a row. That fucking gone.
Okay.
That's gone. They were in a.
You don't think Brady getting hot late is going to make a difference?
And this is why. Because they played 3 quarters the next game, which was the last game of the season, and they replicated nothing from the game before.
They were leading. They were leading by the time they
fuck. They went into that game to replicate what they did the game before, and they didn't. They
all right,
didn't
you're
get the ball
talking
to
a lot of
Mike
shit.
Evans.
I'm taking Tampa. It's going to be Tampa, Philly, and Philly's going to get their revenge.
That's crazy.
Let's go.
Bad.
Okay. So
Let's go.
I don't know if you were able to prepare for this. I know that you had to work today. Our last call, we all agreed that we're going to do our favorite moments of the NFL season.
Oh.
Okay.
Got 3 of them.
So I have 5 of them. So if you can just throw out 3, we're gonna. I would say just snake draft like we did. The others, I'll throw out my first 2, real quick, just because then it'll be 3.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Mike Giuseppe's gritty.
Oh my god.
Giuseppe. His gritty, and he hit it in the playoffs too, and his back, and it's great.
God, it's
I
so
loved
bad.
it.
Kelsey did one earlier in the year too. Apparently.
Yeah, but Kelsey can dance. Kelsey
No. Jason Kelsey.
No,
Yeah.
fat motherfucker.
And my number 4, kind of a weird one, but it's Jay Jettis catch. The catch.
Oh yeah.
You know the one.
You know the one.
Yeah. All right, and then now we're on to our top 3. What's your third? They don't have to be
I'll start
ranked.
from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy yesterday.
Okay.
It's so incredible,
Prisoner
man.
of the moment.
What do you mean?
This motherfucker.
Mr. Relevant
I'm not hating.
Mr.
I've just
Relevant
been
going
seeing-
for 4 touchdowns.
He went
and
from
a
Mr. Irrelevant to, this kid is going to be a fucking great quarterback. Like, that's what I'm seeing, is this kid is going to be a fucking stay in this league for a long time. And I
don't
don't
know why
think
you're
that's
so against
true.
it.
I just don't think that's true. I think we're seeing a couple
Do you
games.
think they're any worse
It's the
next year
same
with him
thing
as
as
a
Nick.
starter?
I feel the same way about Nick Foles with that Eagles team as I do Brock Purdy now. Is Brock Purdy better than the starting option? No.
So, all right.
But the team is so great
But I can
around
still
him.
revere
So
the
hold on.
performance.
Yeah,
The performance
I
was
can
there.
revere it, but I don't think Nick Foles is an all-time great quarterback.
He
Yeah,
didn't
but
say
that's
that.
still one of the best moments of the
Yeah,
fucking
But that's what
season.
people
talking-
are saying. Is people
we're
are saying
not.
Purdy is
But
this is his takeoff. This
this
is
is-
not his takeoff. He's not starting next year.
Look, this is why we're saying you're hating. We were talking about our favorite moments of the year.
Fuck your favorite
he brought
moment.
up Purdy, and you had to go on a rant about
His
how much you
favorite moment's
fucking hate him.
terrible. His Eagles were great, and his favorite moment is Brock
It's
Purdy.
his third favorite.
Yeah, I
That's
got
bad.
3.
It
So
shouldn't be time.
I got 2 more.
My third favorite
Purdy's
was
not on
Justin
my
Fields'
list.
run against the Packers. The big breakout run that put him ahead.
It's fucking like a 60-yard run or something like that.
Yeah.
It was
Are you-
ridiculous.
The one
He's
that put him
talking about the
ahead.
first
That was
Packers
the
game.
it was the second one. The game that was like this
I
is
don't
our
know if
perfect
that one's
season.
better than the one against the Eagles. Do you
It was for
remember that
me
one?
because it was against the Packers.
Oh,
It-
I get
yes.
that.
Hater.
I think that
Yeah, no.
in terms of the
My top 3 are all hate.
yeah.
So you're number 3.
Before you go, the reason why I said the Eagles one, it took so much more effort for him and
was
on that
insane.
play, and it's like
Yeah.
that's
Is
like
that
that's
the
like
spin into the end zone that didn't count?
yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
He was
Yeah.
like out of bounds at the 2.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the greatest run since David Johnson fucking torched us. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if you
It
remember
was
David
insane.
Johnson's
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, he ran so good.
One
against
player
you
does
all
that every year to us.
They traded him for D Hop. That's how good that run was. They thought he was as good as
That's
DeAndre
true.
Hopkins. Yeah,
He was in that trade. I forgot about that.
he was the trade. That was
well,
the
there was
trade.
a pick involved. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
but like that was it.
yeah, Justin Fields had a couple of those runs this year, and like
But that one especially, like that was they put us up against the Packers. That was the one that we needed to win.
I would consider not being a fan of that team if they trade him. By the way.
Oh no, I am a fan
Shouldn't
of
be a
Justin
fan
Fields at this
anyways.
point. If they draft a quarterback and trade away Justin Fields, I'm not a Bears fan next year.
Abysmal
I
ass
sure hope.
Bears.
Yeah,
I'm on board with that.
yeah.
Like I
I'll
sure
be a
hope
Jets
they-
fan and a Justin
okay,
Fields fan. Yeah.
We're good. We're good then. That's good.
That's almost a worse pick.
I mean, the Jets were better.
They got my second.
It's crazy. They got all those great defensive players. They're still gonna suck ass.
I think Brees is going to end up being one of your
That's
favorite
not
players.
true. They're gonna get Derek Carr, and Derek Carr's gonna ball.
Brees,
I watched. That's the one
Yes.
time I agreed with Colin Coward.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna talk about
Colin
last.
Coward was talking about that. He said Robert Saleh needs to win now. Derek Carr is his perfect situation.
Yeah.
And I agree with it.
I saw a stat that if Derek Carr had the season that he had last year, or this year, the shitty one for Derek Carr, it's the best stats of a Jets quarterback of all time.
Yeah, they're Jets. It's the Jets.
Like, do you realize how fucking crazy
they're fucking terrible. They're
Yeah.
abysmal.
Shout out to
Y'all thought this team was
shout
going to
out
be
to-
better than us this year.
They were.
They weren't.
They were.
No.
Shout out to who?
We were better than them.
Pick a Side podcast. That's the one that I just quoted.
We beat them both times.
But go ahead. Who's your
suck.
third favorite moment?
The Jets suck. That's my favorite moment is them being terrible.
They were.
No,
They literally weren't.
They were terrible.
JJ Watt getting 2 sacks in his last game.
That was
that
awesome.
was a good moment.
Yeah. Him retiring sucks, man.
I get it.
I love him.
Everything
wouldn't
that
wanna
happened
play
to
on the
him
Cardinals
before the
team
year
again.
with the heart. I think what really did it was DeMar Hamlin. Because of what happened to
Yeah,
him at the
that makes
beginning of
sense.
the year with the heart palpitations and everything, and then seeing that
Yeah,
on
that
top
makes
of
sense.
having a kid, I think it really like was like, oh, this is
JJ Watt is. I think he's one of the most admirable players ever to play because he's gone through like pectoral tears. He's had his knee fucked up.
I mean, he's one
had
of
his,
3 players that has 3 Defensive Player of the Year
his
awards.
biceps. He is torn multiple times. He tore his biceps before the start of the season. Was able to get them repaired and healthy enough to go play.
Yeah.
Like he's played more injured than players like Matthew Stafford and shit. It's just it's JJ Watt, dude.
What's your number 2?
My number 2? Oh,
What'd you
that fuck! I was looking for it because that's my number 1. I don't know. If
All right, so you went in reverse order. That's your favorite moment.
No, my favorite. That's my 3.
Oh, okay.
My number.
Oh, okay.
I have my number
Oh, okay,
1.
okay.
I'm trying to go because I don't.
Okay, we'll
I'm
just
trying to
circle
think
back
of
around.
my number 2.
My number 2 was Sauce Gardner putting on the Packers. The
Oh
cheese
yeah,
head.
yeah. I remember that. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, them having to run up and smack it off his head.
Who
was
smacked it off his head?
disrespectful.
Was it Jair?
There was. I don't think it was ever like confirmed, but there was a rumor of who it was, but I don't remember. But
Aaron.
I think it was Jair.
It wasn't
'cause
Aaron.
He was pissed.
that would have been awesome. God, that'd have felt great. But yeah, they were pissed. But one of my favorite players, a player that I hyped up a lot going into the season,
You
shitting
are
on the
hating on the
Packers,
Packers a
shitting
lot.
on the Packers. All my top 3 are all hate.
Yeah,
Not all against the Packers, actually. My number 1 is not.
that's good.
Yeah, but go ahead. What's your?
Some positivity on this
Oh no,
fine
you just
podcast
wait.
of Super Wildcard Weekend. All right, number 2. AJ Brown versus the Steelers. I don't know if
Yeah.
y'all saw every
Yep.
fucking play he made.
Too little.
Too little.
Too little.
He's so good, bro. That was a contested catch
Imagine if
on
he was with
2
a quarterback that
defenders.
could
Minka
throw.
Fitzpatrick was a part of that, by the way.
Yeah, dog.
They were bad.
That's probably why he didn't
Looking
make my
back
list.
on it now, like outside of Minka Fitzpatrick, like the fucking Steelers were terrible.
Unless
Najee
they
wasn't
had
great.
If they had a chance to win
Kenny
in the
Pickett was the future. George
No.
Pickens was their best offensive player
Here's a
this
dog.
year.
If they had a chance to win in the fourth quarter or overtime, Kenny Pickett was top 5 best quarterbacks in the league. He fucking played out of his damn mind every time they
He
had a
was
chance
just
to win.
garbage every other time.
All the rest of the game, he was one of the worst, but he is clutch apparently.
All right, I'm going to hold off on mine. I want mine to be last because
I don't have 3.
So you just have your number.
My number 1 is Marcus Jones returning the punt against the Jets.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
winning
yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
That was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. My number 1
The New
favorite
York
moment.
shitty Jets.
The New York shitty Jets. Oh, poor guys.
Stop.
Um,
They won that game. What was it like? Wasn't it 6-6 at that point or something?
No, they were winning. It was like 6-10. I'm pretty sure, something like that.
no, it was tied up. About
Yeah, it
to
was
go into
tied.
overtime.
Was it 0-0?
No, I think it was 3-3 or 6-6.
It
Like,
was
it was
something
very
bad.
real. Everyone was playing like shit, really. It was.
I mean, that's.
it was unbelievable how
what do you-
Not
bad.
going to overtime.
If anybody has,
Yeah.
if anybody has an excuse to fucking be garbage this year, it was us. I mean, look at
Ten-
our fucking play calling.
10-3, so it was 3-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we beat the Lions. Fuck the Lions.
Number 1
Good.
favorite moment of the year: Jamar Chase flicking off Minka Fitzpatrick. That is my favorite moment.
I don't even remember that.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
insane.
you got to show me that.
All right.
Was that in the second matchup, I guess?
Yes.
Because they got fucked up in that first one. Well, they lost by 3, but man, that's rough. You were both 2, right? Both of yours, right?
Mhm.
All right. This one's gonna take a minute. So this is just like a broader dig at this guy over here, because he had a lot of dumb. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of dumb opinions this year. I went back over the course of this week and looked at a lot of our older episodes. Our predictions episodes are so good.
Yeah.
Just in context of how wrong he was.
I love how much hate's on this.
So you had the Patriots, the 6th seed.
2023 is the year of hate.
You
We're
had,
haters.
You had the Patriots as the 6th seed. They didn't make the playoffs. I was right.
That's what we would have been if we made the playoffs as the 6th seed.
No, you would have been the 7.
Would have.
No, therefore, the week before when we were in, because with that last game before we going into the Bills, we were in the playoffs. If we would have beat the Bills, we would have been the 6th seed.
Yeah, that's not.
That's not fucking being wrong. I was close.
Well, there was a lot.
Fucking closer.
Close don't count.
There's quite a bit you were wrong about. But continuing on,
I don't believe it.
When we were talking about the NFC playoffs, because you went right after I went, and I had mentioned that the Eagles are going to make the Super Bowl, and you said, first of all, the Rams are going to be the number 1 seed.
Everybody
Fuck
got that
everything
wrong. I don't
else.
want to fucking hear
Fuck
that.
what you got to say.
Everyone.
The Rams are locking up the number 1 seed.
You're not doing that. No, don't sit here and
So,
act
the
like
Rams
you
are the 1
thought
seed.
the Eagles were going to
Yeah,
be
Tampa at the 2 seed.
Yeah, these were all very...
Okay.
You didn't
Where
even
you
the 3rd seed. You had us at the 4 seed. Yeah, the Eagles at the 4 seed.
You act like I'm completely wrong. Like, you act like I'm just like, yeah, I got it wrong, but, like, these were all...
You also had the fucking Bills at 16-1, and their only loss being to New England.
Yeah, because we beat them at home last year. Everything, I had facts for everything. You are an Eagles fan, and you can say that you thought you were going to win the Super Bowl, but going into it, there's no way, looking at it objectively, you could have thought that you were better than any of the teams that I said. Tampa Bay was the Super Bowl.
I had us as the best best
Yes,
record
because you're
in
a
the
fucking
NFC.
Eagles fan.
Yeah, but
There's no objectivity in that.
How was there not?
He was
We're
right.
literally sitting there,
Yeah.
the number
Yeah,
1
we're
seed.
right now.
When you're right, you're
Yeah,
right.
I was right when I
Fucking
said
hindsight
it.
is 2020.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that about last year's team. Because they were not this good.
Nobody expected Tampa Bay to be this bad.
This team has way more
Nobody
talent.
expected the Rams to be this bad. Let's talk about other teams that nobody expected to be bad. The Packers. Nobody expected
Hey,
them
whoa,
to slide.
whoa.
You did, but you're a hater.
I was right.
He had him at 8-9.
Hey,
He ended up 8-9.
Yeah.
He was close on
It's
y'all's
not
record,
hating.
too.
I literally was correct.
He
were
had y'all
8-9.
going 7-10.
Yeah, he's wrong.
You remember what I said about the
Jets
Packers?
suck.
Do you remember what I said about the Packers?
No, I
I
don't.
literally said they have no offensive weapons, and they're going to go through Aaron, and they need to run the ball. And because their offense is going to be shitty, their defense is going to be on the field
I
more,
implore
and
you all to
they're
go
going
back
their
and watch
offense
those
wasn't
episodes. They
shitty.
were fucking good,
Like,
dude.
yeah.
Towards
They're
the end
fun.
of the year, their offense wasn't bad.
It
After
picked up. Yeah.
After that jump, like halfway through the season, Aaron was actually playing. Played them into the
Aaron
playoffs.
didn't
They
play.
were-
Aaron had a lot of shitty plays, especially for Aaron.
but they had
Aaron played.
They had the
pretty
growing
well.
pains. Like you could see the growing pains between him and Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs.
I'm not
Christian
discrediting it.
Watson showed that hey, I'm gonna be a fucking.
I'm not only going to give you shit
I
because
called
you, motherfucker, you too, because there was a lot of like under breath, like,
I want to.
y'all were sitting there side by side,
Yeah.
sneering and cackling at me for having a fucking correct take.
You got no. I'm not. This is no correct take.
It was right.
He
Hey, when
did
you're
the
right,
same-
you're right.
No, he
It don't
did
matter
the
if it's-
same thing he always does. He's gonna say every year they're gonna be great until one of them.
Did I do it last
right.
year? Listen, we didn't have a podcast last year. We're gonna fucking do this again next
You
year.
definitely
I'm gonna have
thought they were gonna be better
see.
than
They'll
they
be
were.
favored next year too because they have the same fucking roster.
Well, let's see how many of them retire.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of free agents too on the books. But
Yeah.
I'm really
we'll see.
trying to look and see at my records and see
there was
how
a lot.
bad
I'm
I
just
was.
saying there was a lot of sideways comments like,
Tampa
Yeah.
was bad.
So what was mine?
So
What was mine?
yours was the Rams. You had for the Super Bowl.
Everybody
Oh,
got
I
the
did.
Rams
Super Bowl,
wrong.
you had a repeat.
Yeah.
I think we
Everybody
missed that
got
last
the Rams
year.
wrong.
But
But-
you were pretty fucking accurate actually, because you had the Jets going 7-10. They ended up 7-10, I think. Yeah, because they
Yeah,
lost to the
they won.
Dolphins in the last week. You had the Patriots going 7-10 or 6-11. That was kind of bad.
Dumb.
All right, hold on. You want to say dumb? You had
Dumb.
you had the Jets going 3-14.
Oh shit! I
and
forgot
12
all about those.
and 12 and 5 for
I
the
said
fucking
12
Patriots.
Yeah,
Dumb.
But if you
I
go
was
back
closer
and
than
watch,
you.
you
What
go
do you
back
mean,
and
dumb.
You go back and watch that video. I said
It was
this
a
is a
pipe
pipe
dream.
dream. This is
Yeah.
very best case scenario.
You
I
wrote it
said-
down, motherfucker.
I fucking called that. I said 8 and
That's
8
fine.
was our fucking ceiling.
Oh,
What-
so when you say, well, with these stipulations, but if I say, oh, I'm fucking right, you're
No,
like, well,
you're
that's hater
wrong.
talk. No, it's
You're
fucking
a
right.
hater, and
Literally
you're
right.
wrong.
It's
No.
correct.
It's all part of the plan,
Negative.
baby.
Those are
This
not
is
bad.
the year of the hate. We're gonna keep it.
2023 is the attitude
We're
era.
gonna keep it.
We're bringing
keep
it back.
chugging. I just don't want to hear this shit next year.
Oh, I said the Broncos were gonna be 7-10.
I mean, you were closer than fucking everybody because I had them 10-7, I think.
Anthony had them 12-5.
We always look
Not
at
all.
that entire
Not
division.
all. Jacob had it 10-7.
Well, I had
Cody had
That's
them.
still way.
Cody had them 13-4.
I had the
Nice.
Raiders.
Infinitely.
I had
better
them 7-10.
I had the Raiders at fucking 12-5. And
You're winning off your. No, I'm not letting you win because you're a fucking hater.
I
No,
didn't hate.
That's not.
I
That is
literally
hating.
said. I literally said the Broncos are just not as good as the other three.
I think we all had the
hater.
Broncos being the worst team in the division.
Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
No,
I had them in the
Cody
Raiders
had them-
being 12-5.
Cody had them tied for second.
Really?
Yes.
Who
I
did
had
last? The
Jacob,
Raiders?
you had them
10-7.
last. You had them last, and Anthony had them tied for last.
And he had.
See, no one's calling me out for the Raiders. I fucking picked them to be good.
Well, we
we all
all
did.
That's. I'm not holding that against anybody. I'm
trying
not
to think-
holding.
I'm trying to
getting the
think of the
Rams
most
wrong
correct
against
you were.
somebody.
Because you were pretty fucking spot on with the Jets. Because you had them higher than everybody, but they ended up being worse than what they should have been. You know
I
what
had
I
them
mean?
7-10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what they ended up being.
Yeah, I had Patriots at 6-11. Yeah.
We need to
I
go
did
through
alright.
and look and.
The
I
we
had.
need to look at
what
the.
what was the
Packers-
Eagles?
The Eagles were 14-3.
I had them 13-4.
12-5.
Okay, so you were really close there.
I
had 'em
you
15-2.
Cody had them 14-3. You had them 14-3.
Did I really?
Yep.
What was the
And you had
third
them
loss?
12-5.
Because I had Washington and the Cowboys.
Oh no, it's on our Instagram.
Was it the Colts?
But
It was the Colts. That's what.
the
it was.
NFC South was a rough one.
Yeah, none of us got them.
You
I
had
was probably the closest.
you are. I mean, 14-3 for the Bucks.
Well, I'm saying total
2-15, 2-15 for Panthers and Falcons, 8-9 for the Saints.
What the?
I was pretty fucking close to you with this. I had 14-3 for Bucks, 3-14, 3-14, 8-9. I guess Cody was.
This was probably my
Cody
worst
was the
division.
closest, 13-4, 4-13, 4-13, 9-8, which is the closest by just how it works. You had them 14-3. 3-14, 5-12,
South
11-6 for the Saints.
Yeah, I had the Saints pretty high, but
So-
they ended up 8-9, I think.
You
or
did really well
7-10.
with really well. You did the best with the AFC South. 9-8 for the Colts.
What about
5-12.
the NFC East? I was pretty good
No,
on the
I-
NFC
I
East.
NFC
think
East 10-7 for the Commanders.
Yeah,
11.
They ended up 7-9-1, I think.
You had 11-6 for the Cowboys.
Yeah, they were 12-5,
14-3 for the Eagles.
and they're
1-16 for the Giants.
Yeah, I had the Giants being pretty bad.
I had 11-6 for Commanders. 9-8 Cowboys. 13-4 Eagles. 1-16 Giants. And then you had 10-7 Commanders. 10-7
What about the
Cowboys.
NFC North for me?
NFC North.
I was
That's
pretty
the
close
Packers
on
division.
them outside
You had
of the
4-13 Bears.
which
Pretty
is
close.
what they went.
They went 3-13.
They
3-13.
yeah,
Or 3-14.
3-14. So very close.
Yeah.
6-11 for the Lions.
No, that's not me.
Oh,
Wait,
that is
yeah,
Cody.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is Cody.
that's-
That's Cody. Sorry.
Oh.
You had 2-15 for Bears. 4-13 for the Lions.
Okay.
10-7 for the Packers. 13-4 for the Vikings. I had 14-3 for the Vikings.
I mean, they're
8-9 for the
pretty close.
Packers. 2-15 for the Lions. 5-12 for the Bears. So I was off.
So you had the Lions placing last.
Yes. Very much not the
Yeah,
case.
that was a tough one.
And
the
then
Lions actually
you-
really did well.
You had 4-13 Bears, 7-10 Lions, 13-4 Packers, 13-4 Vikings.
Yeah.
No.
One more thing to dig you so we can fucking wrap this up. The Clippers are trash.
No, they're not.
And
They're fucking garbage.
that's been totally not biased.
They're fucking 50. They're 500. Directly 500. They're 22-22
That's a good spot to be in when your two best players
in the
are
West.
playing
Yeah, okay.
4 games.
This is totally not biased. Episode 17. We'll be back next week with
This motherfucker's a
Conference
Lakers fan
championship
wants to come
matchups.
talk
We're gonna
about
fucking know
the
what it
fucking
looks like.
Clippers. Like the Lakers are fucking good.
Love you guys. See you later.